Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Court Martial Podcast. Introducing your host for this evening first. He is the host with the most from the West Coast, the Bay Area Brawler, Skylar Greenberg. And his partner, he has colonized, energized, and revolutionized the podcasting wrestling world today. Your Colonial Champion, Sean And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, ladies, germs, cats, dogs, fish, amoebas, and everything in between. Welcome to the Court Martial Podcast, the podcast made by Smarks, for Smarks, talking pro wrestling, booking pro wrestling, and that's what we're doing here today. Because it is Season 3, Episode 9 of ACPW and NWL. I am your Colonial Champion, here to bring you Atlantic Coast Pro Wrestling's latest, but I am not here alone, and we have got a very special co-host bringing you a very exciting round of the World Cup for the National Wrestling League, and he's going to be the guy starting off today. There's only one guy it can be. The man of the hour, the man with the power, too sweet to be sour. He is the Bay Area Brawler himself, Skylar Greenberg. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing good. Today is a beautiful day, and we're going to do some good booking. Good booking.
That's right. Some high-class, quality, farm-raised, non-GMO booking. And
yep. Now, before we begin, I may ask you a question?
Please.
So, on our last show, did we not mention that we didn't really want to see Hell in a Cell or Money in the Bank as gimmick matches or gimmick pay-per-views for WWE?
I do recall the words to that effect being spoken.
And specifically me saying that maybe we should move Money in the Bank back to WrestleMania.
Yeah, we pitched that idea of it being on both shows now. Well, look who likes our podcast.
Okay, Triple H, you've been listening the whole time. Now I'm convinced that it's Triple H.
Yeah, I know.
To our podcast and getting our ideas.
Yeah, well, I mean, because both of those things have now become a theoretical actuality. At Hell in a Cell will no longer, because as we discussed, Triple H means Hell in a Cell means more to Triple H than it does probably anybody else. So he would want to re-protect his baby, and getting rid of Money in the Bank as a pay-per-view is, I think, just going to be better for the company all around, and it's obvious that Triple H sees that too.
Right, but they want to keep the match gimmick, and why not have it be the multi-person match that they do at WrestleMania to get people on the card? That makes sense to me. So here's our demands, Triple H, for the continual usage of our ideas. We want six-figure salaries, but not having to relocate to Stamford, Connecticut, to Spug Stamford.
Yeah, I mean, even though I'm only like a 45-minute drive, I prefer to stay on this side of Connecticut, preferably.
Yes, we need the ability to veto any stupid ideas.
Well, that we're just not going to get, but wishful thinking.
No. Triple H has been using ideas for years. We're getting this, Sean. Okay? Our continued demands: the contract termination immediately of Kevin Dunn.
Oh, please, for the love of God, just please do that. Please do that.
And a bowl with 699 green M&Ms, and only green M&Ms.
That's all Skylar. I don't eat M&Ms, but if you could give me, I don't know, if you could give me the exact same amount in actual American dollars, that would be solid.
I'm already asking for six-figure salary.
Yeah, well, I want $600,000 and $600. That's my asking price. You can keep your M&Ms.
All right.
But Skylar,
those are our demands, Triple H, if you want to continue using our ideas. Otherwise, we will sue you.
That's right. I bet. Well, but speaking of things that are green and delicious, and the ways that green things that are delicious can be cultivated into even more experienced, delicious products, the National Wrestling League has had a tournament been going for the past, 4 or 5 months now, Sky?
It's been about 4 months, and tonight is the finals.
And
the
finals, Tony, which means, Skylar, I believe that because Wrestle Festival is coming up next month, you've got some build to do, which means you're going first this week, And because you're going first this week, I get to say the words I love to say every time you get this podium. Sky, the floor is yours.
Thank you. And welcome again to the National Wrestling League World Series. Tonight will be the semifinals and the finals. And we have a couple of other interesting matches happening tonight. We have the Tag Team Championships being defended. DIY going for the gold versus the Usos. We also have a women's title match. Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill. And so much more.
It's going to be a barn burner. Let's get it going.
Gonna be a barn burner. Now, give me 1 second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 matches on the main show and 1 on the prelims. Now, admittedly, this is me cheating a little bit. Because technically, I'm hiring people who are going to be here for only 1 night. But they're important for a reason. And they are the Young Bucks.
Well, you and I talked about this, and making this small concession, because if I'm able to take Shawn Michaels to go yell at Adam Cole, you can take the Young Bucks to do what you're about to do here, for the sake of doing what you're about to do here.
Right. The preliminary show matchup is a tag team matchup. The Young Bucks versus the hottest new signing to the National Wrestling League, the Acclaimed. And Sean, Max Caster has a request for you.
What's
that request is?
What's that request, Scott?
Start my music. Yo, listen. Yo, listen. Primetime lights finally, it's the Acclaim. Best of the best, put us on the Walk of Fame. My man is Anthony Bowens, I'm Platinum Max. Gonna hit you hard with our attacks. But I gotta ask, why did it take so long for you guys to hire us? Sean, are you afraid? Man, you hella sus. Just admit your album sucked and you couldn't sell a track. Go join the Bucks and smell Uncle Dave's ass crack.
Wait. What was that last line?
Go join the Bucks and smell Uncle Dave's ass.
Oh my god, damn. Had to cut the beat to make sure that came through clear. Well, Uncle Dave's ass crack, I'm sure, smells just like the Meltzer driver. So.
Well, either way, keep the music going.
All right, back to the music. Anaheim!
The Acclaim has arrived. I want you to get loud and say ass crack.
Ass crack. Ass crack. Ass crack. All right, they're in the ring. Wow. Yes, that's right. The entire arena probably would yell ass crack at the Bucks. Oh, man. That was amazing.
Yep. Now, this is a 5-minute match. The Acclaimed win with the mic drop, which is Bowens planting one of the Bucks, and then Caster coming off the top rope with an elbow drop. 1, 2, 3.
All right. Well, I hope you folks at home enjoyed the royalty-free NWL purchased, licensed, Acclaimed beat.
Right. Do not copy.
That's right. Well.
But here's the question, though, Sean. We just dissed your album. I feel like that's a little bit of disrespect because I hear your album is actually spitting bars.
We're going to go into an ad for my music right after you spit that gold? All right, you know what? Fine. I'll tell you what, folks. You want to get a masterclass, a taste of the intricate mind of yours truly, and a variety of different music that isn't necessarily just hip-hop, because we're taking music by storm in every genre possible. We're destroying genres. We're looking at these labels, these bars that you've put together. We're going, ha-purr, and we're kicking those bars right in the chin, and they're crackling down, and they're raining down because 2 industry-busting artists in Abizzle and Knux are taking the music industry by storm, breaking the foundation of what we know as modern music. And right now, you can listen to just a bit more, the most recent release by yours truly, Knux, a 10-track album that's got quite a few different styles on it. Give it a listen. You're not going to be disappointed. And if you're looking for something in the future to listen to, November 18th, Mixed Bag 2, the sequel to my album from 4 years ago called Mixed Bag, but it's Abizzle's turn, and that's coming up, so stay tuned for that. November 18th is a release date on Apple Music, Spotify, all the musical platforms, plus our entire SoundCloud collection. There is an enormous anthology of music in AP Production CT just waiting for you to click on it. Come join the entertainment revolution known as AB Production CT. You know how to find us. The link's in the description. Look for White Knux, spelled W-H-I-T-E space K-N-U-X, or Abizzle, spelled A-B-I-Z-Z-L-E. Any of those platforms. We look forward to hearing you hear us.
I feel like after I dissed your album and your tracks, I feel like I had to give you the shine, man.
Well, it definitely it definitely does help the mood, but I'm not upset at Max Caster. You know, that's friendly banter. I don't feel really any animosity given them because I'm very high in them, and I also know how to separate business and personal affairs. Tony Khan could use a lesson in that.
Plus, controversy creates interest, and interest creates money.
That's right. Thanks, Bischoff.
Now we're gonna start the main. Show. Oh, and thank you, Eric Bischoff. He's gonna start the show in the ring.
There you go.
So it's Eric Bischoff, our interim general manager, and his assistant Pat McAfee in the middle of the ring with the National Wrestling League World Cup trophy. And Eric Bischoff welcomes you to the National Wrestling League. And today is the Parade of Champions. We started with 32 wrestlers. And now, here in Anaheim, California, we're going to have the semifinals and the finals. Only 4 remain. And who will be crowned the National Wrestling League World Cup champion? Our contenders are, representing Scotland, Drew McIntyre.
Yay!
Drew McIntyre makes his entrance. Representing Samoa, the international champion, Jacob Fatu.
Oh!
Representing the United States of America, Alexander Hammerstone.
Yay!
And my personal pick to win this whole thing, Bobby Lashley.
Oh!
So all 4 of them get into the ring, and Bischoff says, and one of these men will win this tournament and challenge Roman Reigns, our World Heavyweight Champion. Of course, Roman makes his entrance.
Oh!
Now, very clearly, the way the ring is set up is that Drew and Alexander Hammerstone, the baby faces, are on the left side. Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns are on the near side post. Bobby Lashley, Pat McAfee, and Eric Bischoff are on the far side post. Got it?
Got it.
Of course, Roman Reigns grabs the mic and says, cut my music. Listen, I need all 4 of you to understand something. This tournament, it doesn't matter who wins. Just acknowledge me. Acknowledge the tribal chief. And realize that all you've gone through, all you've done, is going to be for naught. Drew McIntyre stands immediately face to face, and there is not much separate. Eric Bischoff tries to get in there, but you know how Weasley gets his arm in there?
Yep.
Drew McIntyre, of course, says, say that again to my face. Of course, Roman blows. They're going to stare at each other and finally get them to separate. And Roman says, well, I see tension is high today, and I understand it. Well, I'm going to enjoy tonight off since I don't have a match tonight. I'm going to look forward to watching you 4 beat the crap out of each other. Because whoever's going to win, well, they're going to lose to me. Understand that. Now, Hammerstone stands up to Roman Reigns. Like, he's inches away. Jacob stands in the middle. Of course, this looks like it's all going to break down. And we hear the song. Da, 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 da.
Yes! Kurt is back.
Kurt Angle marches to the ring. Doesn't even wait for his music to stop. Punches Eric Bischoff in the face.
Deservedly so.
Goes down. Eric Bischoff goes down and rolls outside the ring. Kurt Angle grabs the microphone, and Kurt says, well, I'm back, everybody. The real general manager of the National Wrestling League is here. And you know, while I've been away, I've been watching your performance, Eric Bischoff, and I have to say, you suck. You suck real bad. So, unfortunately, me and the board of directors are going to have to fire you for your terrible performance. Because I'm back, and I'm better than ever. And it's true. It's damn true.
Nice.
Now, as for my assistant, Pat, I'm not going to fire you. Or maybe I will. Because you and me are going to have a match at Wrestle Festival, one-on-one. And admittedly, if I lose, I will step down from the National Wrestling League and I will make you the general manager. But if I win, I'm going to give you the worst possible punishment imaginable. Pat McAfee, if you lose to me at Wrestle Festival, you will be forced to do commentary for an entire year with Michael Cole.
Do you have Michael? Oh, that's right. You do have Michael Cole.
Yep.
Well, I wonder where this is headed.
Of course, Pat McAfee is begging to please, anything but making me work with Michael Cole.
Don't make me work with the weenie. I don't want to work with the weenie.
Well, you better get ready for that match, son, because I'm going to whoop your ass. Now, as for this World Cup tournament, I have decided the matchups. Bobby Lashley, you're going to go head-to-head with Drew McIntyre.
Ooh, I like
And Jacob Fatu, you're going head-to-head with Alexander Hammerstone. But Jacob, Roman Reigns has been a dear personal friend of me ever since he's been the world champion. Intimidating me, trying to get whatever he wants, pro quo. Understand something, Roman. Those checks you've been cashing, well, they ain't being cashed no more. Jacob, your international championship is on the line against Alexander Hammerstone.
Oh, snap. All right.
And no member of the bloodline is allowed at ringside.
Damn.
And Roman, you saying you have the night off? I vaguely remember you and Seth Rollins going to a double countout last show. Well, let's make sure that doesn't happen again. You two will be competing in Last Man Standing. And if either of you double count out again, you'll be stripped of the title.
So if Seth Rollins gets counted out, that means Roman Reigns still loses the belt?
If they both get double counted out, then
if it's a double count out. Okay, I see. If it's a double count out. Got it.
If it's a double count out like it was last time, Roman will be stripped of the title, and the finals of the World Cup will be the world title match.
Got it.
And you want to know what? It's all damn true because I'm Kurt Angle.
Hell yeah. I like Kurt throwing the hammer down and being like, all right, time to restore order in this asylum run by inmates.
I need an order. I need an order real bad.
Well, Kurt's a good guy to do that. You know, to lay down the law. And Arn Anderson was really good at doing that when I needed him to. You know, you need a good authority figure, which is why babyface authority figure, if you're going to have an authority figure, is the way to do it. It worked for Vince, and it doesn't really work for anybody else.
I mean, heel works, but you have a limited shelf life.
Yes. Yes,
babyface you can go on forever if you want to.
Right. Well, depending on what the plan is, but yes.
Well, it depends on the babyface, too. Like, Kurt Angle has enough authority as a former wrestler that he can get away with a lot of things that he just did.
Right.
But what do you think of the matches that have just been created? Because he created 4 different matches.
They are all going to be very exciting on this show with a match. Excuse me, with a card of 7 matches. This is going to be something. You know, we've got 4 out of the 7 matches on this show, or now 8 matches, I guess, on this show because that wasn't made before. But this is going to be something, and we've got women's action, and yes, sir, this This is going to be a big show, and Paul White has nothing to do with it.
Right. By the way, I should again specify, Kurt Angle versus Pat McAfee is happening at Wrestle Festival.
Yes. Yes, you did specify that, and you did mention that.
Right. But the other 3 matches will be... anyways.
Right.
Let's get started with the first of the semifinals. It is Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre.
Okay.
And I'm going to give this match an 18-minute match. And again, it's just Drew and Bobby. They've wrestled so many times before, and it's so good.
18 minutes. Damn. That's a haul.
I'm giving them time because there's less matches on this card. I want them to have the time to shine again.
Sure.
These are 2 of the best in the world.
Yeah. I mean,
have to give them that time.
They'll pull off a good 18-minute match. There's no doubt about it.
Right. The finish for the match is that Bobby Lashley has Drew McIntyre fully in the hurt lock, and Drew is fading and fading. And they do the arm thing. They drop the arm once. 1. Drop the arm a second time. 2. Go for the 3rd one. Drew raises his arm. He wakes up. He has adrenaline. He grabs Bobby Lashley on his back, and he hits him into the turnbuckle, gets released. Bobby Lashley pushes Drew off, tries to go for a spear. Drew dodges a spear. Bobby Lashley turns around. Claymore kick. Cover. 1, 2, 3. Drew McIntyre wins and advances to the finals.
All right. Well, that's pretty huge. That's pretty huge. And Bischoff is fired. This is a bad night for the almighty crew. Lashley loses his semifinal match. Bischoff's fired. McAfee might be forced to work with Michael Cole. Rough night.
Well, it's not over. It's not over yet.
You're right. You are not wrong.
Kurt Angle is at ringside says, "Oh, Bobby, that's too bad. But you know what? I'm going to make up for this because you have been spectacular these past few months while I've been gone. You've actually been very good, except for the fact that you've been working with Eric Bischoff and helped put me in the hospital. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to wrestle against a man that you have cheated out of this tournament, cheated out of the world title, and cheated out of opportunity. You're going to wrestle against Keith Lee at Wrestle Festival in a loser leaves town match."
Oh boy. I didn't even think about how you were going to end up resolving the issues between Bobby and Keith Lee, because they've really had consistent issues for the better part of a year and a half, which is really remarkable just how long you've kept this going. And the fact that this is the first loser leaves that either of us have done is this is the kind of feud that deserves it, considering how long they've been at each other's throats. And so I'm all for this. I'm something I didn't know I wanted until it was offered to me.
Exactly. Now, if the loser is gone for a full year, calendar year.
Right.
So, Sean, you may have the option of picking up Bobby Lashley or Keith Lee in the next draft.
Well, we'll see what season 4 brings. It's ACPW has had a very interesting ride recently, and you never know who we're going to want to pick up or drop.
Right. But I am willingly offering up either Keith Lee or Bobby Lashley. I'll let you know how that goes.
Okay. Well, we'll see what I end up offering up, if anything.
Yep. Because the next match is the other semifinal match. It is Jacob Fatu versus Alexander Hammerstone.
Oh, boy. Let's get it. How long are we going?
This match is going 16 minutes. Again, I'm going to give these guys time. The finish for the match is that Jacob Fatu has been wearing down Hammerstone's back. He has him in the Samoa drop, hits it once, goes for a second one, hits it again, goes for it again, hits it a third time. Cover, 1, 2, kick out by Hammerstone on the third Samoa drop. So Jacob Fatu realizes he needs to do more. So he grabs Alexander Hammerstone, goes up to the second rope with Hammerstone. Hammerstone, elbow, 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 gets out of it, grabs Jacob Fatu off the top rope, gets him over his shoulder, hits a TKO, a.k.a. the Stonebreaker. I didn't establish what the Stonebreaker was, but it's a TKO.
Got it.
Cover. 1, 2, 3. Alexander Hammerstone wins. He is officially the international champion and will go on to face Drew McIntyre in the finals.
Drew and Hammerstone. Now, that's a fascinating matchup. And I like what you did here as far as not having, you know, it's difficult booking babyface versus babyface matches, but I feel like considering who they're going up against later, this is the best way to keep people guessing. Because if you had a babyface and a heel, you know, let's say you had Fatu win this, most people are going to assume that Drew's going to win because, you know, you're not going to switch somebody that quickly. You know, even with television, a month's time to switch somebody and turn them, you know, that would have been hard, I think. And so I like this move. I like the fact that it's babyface and babyface, and the fact that we very well could see a champion versus champion match at a main event of a Wrestle Festival here in year 3. That might be something. And the prospect of Drew and Roman again.
Could I go for the 3-year run, or do I give Hammerstone the ball?
Well, and you know, it's not like Drew hasn't been doing things to prepare him for this spot, or if you should give it to him again. And I don't blame you for giving it to him again. And I think that the rivalry that these two have had, I wish could only be mirrored in real life, but sadly it is not, because Kevin Dunn forgot to shut the cameras off.
Yeah, that's why he needs to be fired.
Agreed. That's right. We're looking at you, Triple H. Our terms still apply.
Yep, our terms still apply, damn it.
Anyway,
give me 1 second.
Good outcome.
Now, give me 1 second while we clear out the ring of all this riffraff. We're going to go and have AJ Styles come to the ring in a promo. He's not in a match tonight, but he's here to speak his mind.
Okay.
Now, AJ Styles. Somebody's car alarm went off, damn it.
It was like Right to Censor comes down to the ring, and the Good Father and Ivory and Bull Buchanan all just surround AJ Styles, and AJ's like, what the hell is this?
If it was 2022 version, they would be called cancel culture.
You know, that's not the worst gimmick in the world.
So what do you have to say about the gay community now, AJ Styles?
Yeah, there you go. Tom, you paid for what you done.
No, they would be called the social justice warriors.
Oh my God. Oh man, it writes itself. Oh, good gravy. Oh man.
Anyways, AJ Styles is back in the ring.
He's back in the ring. Right to Censor has left.
Social Justice Warriors. That's their name now.
That's right.
But AJ says, listen up, boys. I'm tired having to deal with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. These two have been trying to blame others for their failures. Kevin, why are you doing this? You used to be a world champion. You were ruthless. But now, you're a complainer. You always try and make up for your losses on somebody else. And Sami, you're just a leech. You like to tag along, grab someone, hold on to them for as much as you can to stay relevant. You're just a little bug. You two have been trying to do whatever you can, and I've had it. So I want you two to come down to this ring so I can kick both of your asses. Now, Kevin and Sami appear on the Titantron, and they say, hey, AJ, how you doing today? You know what? We don't feel like fighting you. We honestly don't. We're not interested in doing it. And AJ, of course, is like, interested? You two see an opportunity whenever you go. You like to jump me? Come on. Jump me. Come here right now. Let's do it. And Sami's like, nah, we got problems. We got injuries, you know. We're not ready for you. But I'll tell you what. We will be ready for you in 1 month's time. How about the two of us wrestle against you and a partner of your choosing in a tag team match? Kevin's like, oh, wait. You don't have any friends, AJ. You're by yourself. Because after all, your good brothers are off in Japan doing who knows what. And your Bullet Club is useless because you don't got anything left in the chamber. So please, AJ, I would suggest you stay away from us. And we'll stay away from you. And AJ's like, no. That's not how it's going to go. You want the tag team match? Fine, we'll do the tag team match. And I'll bring a partner. And me and my partner are going to teach you a lesson.
Who is it, Sky?
Who could it possibly be?
I have a guess.
You have a guess.
I do. But is that going to be revealed at Wrestle Festival, or are we going to find out right now?
It's at Wrestle Festival.
All right, then I will not spoil it. Although I've got a real strong guess who it might be. But that's okay. I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to ruin it.
So what do you think of the promo?
I think the promo is good. It's a nice setup. It kind of acknowledges their past, but also shows that they both kind of want to move on. Well, Owens and Sami Zayn are like, please don't hurt me. And AJ's like, nope, this is what we're doing. You want to do this? This is what we're doing. And I like that idea, you know, and you could definitely now have Owens and Zayn be cowardly when AJ Styles and Friend end up getting the better of them, at least at the beginning of the match, as far as what happens there. And you could play around a lot with that. And it seems like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are really good at attracting old tag teams to reunite and get their asses beat.
It's what they do.
It seems to be that is what they do. But they do it well, and they're facing good guys, so I can't complain.
That's true. That's true. Now we're going to move on to the Tag Team Championship matchup. It is the Usos versus DIY. So Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano.
Let's do it. A repaired Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa.
Yep. Now this is a 15-minute match. Johnny and Tommaso start out hot, taking the advantage. The Usos get a cheap blind spot. Basically, one Uso distracts the referee. The other Uso hits Tommaso Ciampa in between the eyes, blinds Tommaso. The Usos beat down Tommaso. Tommaso tries to fight back. They get more heat on him. Tommaso has to make the tag to Johnny and trust that Johnny will be there. Because a couple of times, the Usos have knocked Johnny off the apron, and Tommaso could not make the tag. And he's gotten frustrated at Johnny. But finally, Tommaso kicks off Jey Uso. Tommaso reaches for the corner, but Johnny isn't there. And Tommaso is trying and reaching. Jey makes the tag to Jimmy Uso. Suddenly, Johnny Gargano appears on the apron and tells Tommaso to tag him in. Tag him in. Tommaso leaps forward and makes the tag. Johnny Gargano gets in. Ball of fire all over Jimmy Uso. He's kicking him. He's drop kicking him. John wooing him into the corner. Over and over again, the drop kicks into the corner. Johnny is a house of fire. Knocks Jey Uso off. And he's got Jimmy Uso up. Lawn dart into the corner. Johnny picks up Jimmy Uso. And he gets him into the Gargano escape. Jimmy Uso looks like he's going to tap out. He's in pain. He's under pressure. But here comes Jey Uso to stop the submission. Tommaso Ciampa gets in. Throws Jey Uso over the top rope. Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano have Jimmy Uso in the middle of the ring. They hit total elimination. Johnny Gargano with the cover. 1, 2, 3. DIY is the tag team champions.
I'm really happy that this is the outcome here, because for the splittest of seconds, I thought you were going to do what Flair did in 2003 to Shawn Michaels on an episode of Raw, where he, apparently he was like, I'm going to fight Evolution because they're like, they wronged me, so I'm going to wrong them. So it was, I think it was Triple H, Batista, and Orton versus Shawn Michaels, Flair, and I think maybe Van Dam. I can't remember who. But basically, Shawn spent the whole match waiting, the whole match getting beat up. He tags Flair. Flair comes in. He's about to punch. He just turns around and punches Shawn Michaels in the head. And it was all just like a ploy. So I have suspected Johnny Gargano would take a few steps in and deck Ciampa. I'm glad that didn't happen. I'm glad that we actually got the proper title change. The Usos, in order to sell the theoretical at this point that Roman Reigns could lose his title, you have to take the titles off the rest of the bloodline. And you've already done that with Fatu, and now you've done it with the Usos. And I think that this is necessary in order to really further sell that Roman Reigns could really be in jeopardy here and in danger. So I like this. I like all of this. And I'm glad DIY were able to mend the fences and get what they deserve.
The power of friendship.
Friendship wins again.
Yep. Also, I should mention that with Tommaso Ciampa and Gargano, they win. They have the titles, of course. Roman Reigns is looking on the TV screen in the back.
Uh-oh. He had unhappy tribal chief.
He's actually looking at the TV. He's not doing the sideways glance thing.
Yes. Yes, make sure that you look square to your left while your body is positioned in front of the camera. So stupid.
I know.
Look natural.
Vincism that needs to stop.
You know what that is? It's what you learn in your in your 101 classes in film. Because I went to school for film. I went to college for film. That's what you learn literally in high school and preliminary college. So if you want to actually look natural, you do so much more than that. Face your body towards the camera is like the bare basics. And that's why it's looked so bare basic and so strange and awkward every time they've done it.
I know. It doesn't look natural. It feels manufactured and fake. But hey, that's WWE under Vince McMahon.
It is.
So now we throw it to Michael Cole and Corey Graves, who are complimenting DIY on such a great victory. And we're going to move on to the next match, which is the NWL Women's Championship match. However, before they can get to the hyping of it, something's going on backstage. And Michael Cole's like, wait, hold on. Okay, guys, we're going to get a camera to the gorilla position because something's happening at Gorilla. So they give the camera, and it's NXT Generation. Austin Theory, Dominik Guerrero, and Braun Breaker, or Rex Steiner, in my canon. Thank you.
You're
beating
welcome.
up Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, and they actually grab both of them and start dragging them outside Gorilla onto the stage where fans can see them.
Oh?
And NXT Generation is destroying Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. They even bring out chairs and start hitting them with chairs.
Oh, no.
And Austin Theory's directing traffic, and Austin Theory tells both of them to hold them in position. He grabs the chair. He has both Kofi and Xavier held down by Dominik Guerrero and Rex Steiner. As he's about to swing the chair, here comes Big E. No music.
Nice. Is he actually gonna do stuff?
And Big E does a clothesline to Austin Theory. And then he does a clothesline to Dominik Guerrero. And then he does a clothesline to Rex Steiner. And he sends all three of them packing. And the Usos, sorry, not the Usos, the New Day are reunited together again.
That's fantastic. We had now, just out of curiosity, we have not heard any actual updates on Big E's condition.
Yeah, this is in a canon where he's healthy.
Right. So just to verify that this is not this is not continuity with real life. I wish it were. I sorely wish it were. But still, good to have Big E back and to be able to help those two and maybe even the odds. So maybe we're getting a 6-man tag at Wrestle Festival?
Huh. I wonder. And speaking of wondering, now we're going to move on to what happens when two physical specimens of women wrestle against each other. It is Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill.
Oh, boy.
Now, this is going to be a video package displaying their history, how the both of them have swagger, they both want to fight each other. They both make their entrance. Of course, Jade Cargill poses forever.
Yeah, that's what she does.
And Sean, I'm pulling an old gimmick.
Oh?
LOL, Bianca wins. Let's move on.
Oh, okay. Well, how long did you give them?
8 minutes.
All right. Bianca could probably lead Jade to a passable 8-minute match. I think Bianca's at that point.
Because Lord knows I give Jade Cargill more time. Listen. Can we go ahead and break the fourth wall for a second?
You can do whatever you want on your show, my friend.
Jade Cargill sucks.
Yeah, she does. She has not gotten better.
No. I was hoping she would. That's why I drafted her, but no, she has not gotten any better.
In her defense, it's not like she's in an environment where she can get better. No one in AEW can get better in AEW, except MJF, because he's an anomaly.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
Sean. Why does AEW hurt me?
AEW hurts themselves, and then it hurts people who wanted to believe in AEW's success and wanted AEW to succeed. And then finally, at some point, you just realize that the writing's on the damn wall. It's just a matter of what's going to be the match that lights the house of toothpicks that place is right now. So that I would say that's why it hurts.
Well, yeah. Now, speaking of everything falling apart, let's go backstage. And backstage is Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu and the Usos. And Roman looks down, scowls, angry at all three of them. He says, well, boys. Looks like the end is here. All three of you, failures, liabilities, losers. You lost your championships. And I have to say, all of you should be ashamed of yourselves. Well, nothing can be done about it now. Come on. You three are going to be helping me in the match tonight because I need you to make sure that we keep this in the bloodline. And then a voice comes out. Hang on 1 second. And in walks Solo Sikoa.
Oh, right. I forgot he's there.
And so it was like, hang on. And Roman's like, wait, who are you? And so it was like, I'm Solo Sikoa. I'm brother of the Usos. I'm cousin of Jacob Fatu, and I'm your cousin. Listen to you. What are you doing, man? Aren't we all blood? Like, you just want to kick blood out after one loss? Not when these three have been helping you for over a year keep your title. You proclaim that you're the tribal chief, that you're the head of the table, that you're God mode. But without these three, you have been keeping your title by the slimmest of margins. And yet, you think that you're going to cast them out just because they lost? Aren't we family? Aren't we family, cuz? I guess family is not supposed to be there unless they're useful. Isn't that right? And of course, Jacob's like, you know what? You're right. We've been doing your dirty work for the last year, and I knew it. I never should have let you talk down to me. How dare you threaten me? How dare you threaten my children? How dare you threaten the Usos and their children? You know what? Leave, please. Let's go. You're on your own tonight. And you're on your own from now and ever. Thank you, Tribal Chief. Of course, all four of them walk off. Roman's like, wait a minute, come back. He grabs his arm and he realizes he's made a mistake. Roman Reigns is all alone.
I only have one issue with this.
What?
And my one issue with this is I can't imagine that Jacob Fatu would just sit there and not say something or not get right up in Roman Reigns' face the second that he said some shit. You know, it's weird. I understand why you did this and how you did this with Solo Sikoa, but considering that the smallest dude is the one who's putting Roman in his place is a little bit strange. Like, I feel like it would be more prudent to have someone who is more physically, like, on par with Roman, like Jacob, do this. But I'm not knocking the way you did it. It's just, I can't imagine that Jacob Fatu would just sit and watch this happen.
Well, I gave Jacob Fatu some lines to, get him up, because obviously I'm not going to have him take all of the things that Roman said.
Yeah.
It's just that Solo reminded them what they're fighting for, and Jacob's like, yeah, I'm not afraid of you anymore. You're on your own. Because I've done your dirty work and I've had it.
Well, it's not looking good for Roman, but can he beat Seth Rollins when the odds are even?
And he's not going to have any help. He has the rule stipulations against him. Can Roman Reigns win on his own?
Well, it's time to see if he can prove if he's the tribal chief after all, or if he has just been in a house of cards of his own.
Yep. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins. Last man standing. Now, last man standing is what last man standing is. I'm going to give it 20 minutes, but I'm not going to describe the match because it's last man standing.
Understandable.
They get the tape. They get the chairs. They get the tables. The fans chant, "We want tables."
They get tables.
They rip apart ringside. They go through the announce table. It's all that. There's been a spear. There's been a stomp. Now, the finish for the match is that Roman and Seth get barely back up to 9, and Seth Rollins goes for a super kick. He goes for another stomp. Roman proceeds to grab him, spinebuster him. Then he puts him over the announce table and the steel steps, and he goes and he gives Seth Rollins a stomp on the steel steps.
Damn. And that's it.
Seth Rollins gets counted down and counted out. Roman Reigns wins, but he's not over. He decides to grab a chair, go over the hunkered mass of Seth Rollins, whose head is still on the steel steps, and concerto.
Damn. Scrambled his
Seth
brains.
Rollins starts seizing up. His hands start going to a tall of like what?
I'm too. I understood. Keep going.
Seth Rollins' hands go to and he has to be stretchered out.
Yes, folks. If you don't know what he's talking about there with Tua Tagovailoa, check out the Bray Wyatt, the most recent Bray Wyatt episode of the Court Martial podcast.
You have to say most recent because we've had like 3 or 4.
Yeah, we have. And well, he's changed appearances 3 or 4 times in the time that we've been doing this. So blame him, not us.
But what do you think about Roman Reigns basically destroying Seth Rollins?
Has to. Like, I hate that Rollins has kind of been in this role where he's just had to be the fodder for Roman Reigns to remain a viable threat, but that's what this really was. Is that it because the criticism has been thrown, and even in real Roman Reigns' title reign, this has been thrown, that he can't do anything on his own. In order to kind of dissolve that, so that this, again, to further sell this match at Wrestle Festival versus whoever wins this main event, you have to have Roman Reigns be able to beat somebody on his own and then emphatically make a statement going, yeah, this is why I've been champion. Make no mistake, I am champion for a reason. I will always be champion. And yes, it's nice having family, but don't make it known that I can't do it alone.
That and the fact that also he destroyed basically a person who was like a brother to him.
You had to do it. You had to do it for the sake of retaining his title. You do whatever it takes to win. So yeah, no, I'm all for this.
The power of friendship and the dissolving of family relationships.
I know. It's been a wild ride in Anaheim.
Been a wild ride. We're finally at the main event of the evening. It is Drew McIntyre versus Alexander Hammerstone. And of course, Roman Reigns is going to sit at ringside and watch this match.
Of course.
Now, this match is a 25-minute match. Again, I'm going to give it time because I've had less matches, and also I had the women's match go short because I had to.
Sure.
25 minutes, Hammerstone versus Drew McIntyre. It is all on the line. Winner faces Roman Reigns. Now, of course, they've had a Stonebreaker and they've had a Claymore kick. Both were kicked out of their finishers.
Yep.
Because this is the finals, I will allow kick-out finishes because why not?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like this is the occasion that calls for it.
But I want you to know something. Drew goes for another Claymore kick. He has the advantage. He goes for it. Alexander Hammerstone imitates and does the Claymore kick himself. And then Hammerstone grabs Drew McIntyre, puts him on his shoulders, and instead of doing a TKO, does the burning hammer.
Oh.
And cover 1, 2, 3.
No, burning hammer, like, not quite John Cena's move, like the one that Tyler Rex did, burning hammer?
The Tyler Rex burning hammer.
Okay.
It's basically the same thing as Bianca Belair's KOD.
Yeah. All right.
Except instead of landing in front, they land on the side. But basically, it's like that.
Yeah. All right. I'll tell you what. I like that as a finish. Seeing somebody like Drew get hit with that would be pretty impressive. That'd be a pretty impressive feat.
And the reason why is that Hammerstone specifically has done the burning hammer before in real life. That is a real move of his. And I like the TKO. That's a signature. The burning hammer is his finisher.
Yeah. I like that. And I like the fact that this is the first time you've seen it. You know, and now Roman Reigns has got something in the arsenal that Hammerstone has that he has not seen or is prepared for.
I mean, he did it right in front of the champion, no less.
Well, yeah, but I mean that's exactly it. It's like, yeah. So I know you. That's what a sign to the champion going. I know you've wrestled me before, but you haven't seen everything I'm able to do.
Yep. Of course, now Roman Reigns has gotten into the ring after they do the trophy presentation, and Roman says, "Well, congratulations," clapping, of course. "You are the world champion, and I must say, I'm proud of you finally reaching the mountaintop once again. But I want you to know something. I'm still on the mountaintop. I am the tribal chief. I am God Mode himself. And I will make sure that I keep this. See, Alexander, I like you. You're good. You're fast. You're strong. And you certainly have the ability to go head-to-head with me. But you're going to go head-to-head with me, and you're going to realize something. You're just not good enough. You are going to go up to me and realize that your arms are too short to box with God Mode. And you're going to realize that you are just always going to be number 2 to my number 1. Hammerstone grabs the microphone and says, "You talk and you talk, Roman. Listen, I know the reason why you're talking like this. You're trying to intimidate me. But I want you to understand something. I'm not scared of you. I'm not scared of you. You are scared of me. You have been cheating your way to keep your championship, but you don't have the bloodline no more. You are by yourself. You're alone, and you can feel it. The title is going to slip away from you. You've been on top for a year and a half. You have been God Mode. But you're going to realize that not only are my arms big enough to box with God Mode, they're big enough to kill God Mode. I'm going to turn you off, and you're going to be done, because I will be the champion. I will take what's rightfully mine, because when we matched up before, you cheated your way out. But there's no cheating this time, because I get to choose the stipulation for our match. No countouts, no disqualification, no weapons, no outside interference. You and me, one-on-one. And Roman, please, bring your best. Bring everything you got. Because when you go up against Hammerstone, you're going to realize your best isn't good enough. And I'm better than you, and you know it. Believe that.
Boo! Boo from another coast. Boo! If you weren't my best friend, that's a peanut in the damn mail. Lucky motherfucker. You chose Hammerstone to steal the line with. You're lucky that they're chums.
I had to, man. I had to.
You know what's funny? Is if you had asked me, and I totally didn't even think about this until just now, if you had asked me, you could have used MJF on this show. Because he's not there tonight in ACPW. He's just on a VTR.
I could have, but it needs to be Hammerstone because this is Hammerstone's story.
Right.
This is the extension of
Hammerstone.
Well,
that didn't stop you from using MJF's slogan, did it?
Well, yeah, but again, because they're friends and in story, MJF and Roman Reigns have tangled before, it's going to do just a little bit to mess with Roman.
Yeah, I know. I'm just I'm just teasing. I like this. I still like this. This is good.
Did you even catch that I used Hammerstone saying believe that?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did catch that. And they are face to face, and is that how the show ends? They're just staring down?
Staring down a hole through each other. That's how the show ends.
Oh, right. So we've got ourselves.
Arms are too short to box with God Mode.
Yeah, that did make me laugh. That was a funny line. So Wrestle Festival is shaping up to be one hell of a contest.
Mm-hmm.
And I am looking forward to seeing what becomes of it next week, man. Or next week as in next month. of course, in November. Because your big show's November and mine is December.
Yep. And would you like the card for that show?
Let's hear it.
Okay. Alexander Hammerstone versus Roman Reigns, of course.
For the world's title.
And specifically because of Alexander Hammerstone's stipulation, there is no count-out, no disqualification, and no weapons. So Roman Reigns has no avenues for victory besides pinfall or submission.
Now, by no weapons, you mean all the furniture will be cleared out from under the ring. It's basically anything that's in the arena area you can use, but you can't use weapons.
No, you can't use weapons.
Well, if there's no disqualifications, what happens if you use weapons?
Okay, what I mean by no disqualification is that if Roman Reigns disqualifies himself, he loses the title.
Okay, there we go. Got it. Just making sure I've got the rules of this thing right. So,
basically, the only way you can win is pinfall or submission.
Got it. Cool. So we got the main event.
Yep. You have the women's championship. It's going to be Bianca Belair versus Toni Storm. Basically, they're going to do a number one contendership thing on TV. Toni wins, and she's going to challenge Bianca Belair.
Okay, I'm with it.
A fatal four-way between the horsewomen.
Okay, I'm for that as well.
They need to hash out their issues, and the best way to do it is have all of them fight at once.
Beat each other up.
In a rematch, DIY versus the Usos.
Fair.
It's going to be a six-man tag, the New Day versus NXT Generation.
I might have called that, but I'm all for that match as well.
AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens in a tag team match with a surprise partner.
A surprise partner who he could be anybody.
Yep. And, of course, Bobby Lashley versus Keith Lee in a loser leaves town match.
And that I'm really looking forward to. I have a vested interest in the outcome of that matchup. So I'm very, that one should be fun.
So what do you think of my show overall?
Well, you got one more. You got Pat McAfee and Kurt Angle.
I do. And if Pat McAfee loses, he has to do commentary for a full year with Michael Cole. If he wins, he becomes the general manager.
Right, and Kurt leaves.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be quite the show. It's going to be one of the best. Every time that Wrestle Festival comes along, there's always a different feeling to it, but it always feels fresh and it always feels big time. Like you've really worked to get these matches to be truly the culmination of a year's worth of work. And I really love that about NWL and your format. So I'm really looking forward to the show. Well done, my friend.
Thank you, despite the fact that people say you can't do long-term storytelling.
Well, you can. It's just nobody in wrestling cares enough to do it, or they just fall into it by accident.
Triple H, again, we're out there. Just pay us our demands.
That's right. Just meet our demands. That's all we ask. So, I guess that means it's up to me.
Yep, you have a hell of a lead to follow, man.
Well, I'll tell you what. This isn't going to necessarily be the most wrestling-packed edition of ACPW, but it is definitely going to be an episode of ACPW, and there's still a lot happening. It's episode 27, season 3, episode 9. We have 16 segments on this show. Yeah. This is going to be, I mean, it's not the longest show. It's not 16 matches. There are only 5 matches. So bear with me, because there's a lot that's got to be hashed out here, because a lot's happened in the past couple of weeks. Are you ready? Coming live out of Tampa, Florida.
Okay, this is going to be interesting.
Yes, and our main event tonight is we're going to get a call on online with our Titantron with former ACPW World Champion Titus O'Neil. He is going to update us on his condition. But unfortunately, he had a charity event he had to do this whole day and into the evening, so he's actually going to call us on the, when he's ready, right towards the end of the show. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be a really exciting time. But we start this show with Matt Striker in the ring. And he goes, ladies and gentlemen, because of the recent events here in ACPW, we have become in need of a new commissioner. And it is my honor to introduce that man, the man who will be replacing Arn Anderson as commissioner of Atlantic Coast Pro Wrestling. Please welcome the one, the only Jim Ross. That's right.
Boomer syndrome.
And the crowd loves that choice of bringing in JR, because if there's anyone who's going to be able to restore order, it's JR. You know, the most diplomatic human being on the planet, when the subject matter isn't insulting to every fiber of his being.
Well, I mean, given what he has to deal with, it may be against his fiber of his being.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. That's like when he's excited about the material, he's still good. But here's JR, and JR gets, Matt Striker goes, JR, it's your first night as commissioner chosen by the board of directors itself. What is it that you can tell us about your new role? It feels kind of weird me interviewing you, as opposed to you interviewing everybody else. And what about this change can you tell us? And JR goes, well, Matt, it's a difficult decision anytime that you lose a guy like Arn Anderson in the ring, and as commissioner, he did a hell of a job, and I was asked by the board of directors to fill this spot, and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. Arn Anderson is a hell of a man, and we'll see what happens with him, but I promise to be fair, I promise to be honest, and honesty is a hard thing for people to swallow. And if there's any one person who has been on the pulse of ACPW from the start, who's been talking to all the talent, it's been me. So if anyone knows the talent in ACPW, it's me. And I am thankful that we are going to be able to bring ACPW to bigger and better places and build upon what we already have here in Tampa, Florida, and across the entire Atlantic coast. Matt and all of ACPW, thank you for the opportunity. And we're going to make some fun things happen. And I promise to lay down the law when the law needs to be laid down. And until then, Boomer Sooner. Have a good show, folks. And that's it. It's just that was just introducing JR as the commissioner. We're not going to have anybody bother him so far here at the beginning.
By the way, if this was a joke promotion, just saying, we would have been having JR come out to my ass.
Yeah, and I'm glad we didn't.
You know that song, right?
Yes. Yes, I do. And I'm glad that's not what's happening.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God. Because we are not a joke promotion. We are a real promotion. We are a serious promotion. And as evidenced by our first match, it is Roderick Strong versus Man Scout Jake Manning. How long? Who wins?
Roddy in 5?
Well, you got the 5-minute part correct. Here's what happens. Roddy is dominating Jake Manning. Like, dominating. It's not even fair. When, without music, Adam Cole just casually walks down to the, walks down the ramp, and Roddy looks out just as he's about to deliver a backbreaker finishing blow, notices that Adam Cole is there, turns around and, yells, you can see him mouth, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And Cole just kind of, puts both fingers up, does Adam Cole baby, the crowd cheers, and Roddy's like pissed, but he's like, what are you doing here? But that enough of a distraction for Man Scout Jake Manning to wrap him up in a small package. 1, 2, 3. Man Scout wins again.
You gave Man Scout 2 wins this year?
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. But it's in the name of a bigger story, which is that Adam Cole decided to cost Roderick Strong a match in a humiliating fashion after Adam Cole got a tongue lashed by Shawn Michaels back at August our Midsummer Showdown. And that has now, I guess, lit a fire under Adam Cole to cost Roddy. And maybe we'll hear from Adam Cole in the next week or so regarding why he did such things.
Now, to be clear, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly are not there, right?
They are not at ringside. No, they are coming up later.
Okay, so this was just Roddy out by himself.
Correct.
Winning a match he should be until Adam Cole cost him.
Correct. And Man Scout.
Kyle and Bobby aren't going to be happy.
They're not. But we've got a tag match. We got another match coming up. First, it is Camille and Alexa Bliss versus Mickie James and Serena Deeb. Yeah, now, if you recall, I know you weren't here for the last ACPW round, but of course Mickie James was who got screwed out by the bracer incident at Midsummer Showdown. Cut a promo last week about being really pissed about it and getting revenge on them. Serena Deeb offered her services to even the odds, and now we've got ourselves a tag match between Serena and Mickie versus Camille and Alexa Bliss.
Time for that country fried ass woman.
Yeah, that's right. That country fried ass woman. How long and who wins?
8 minutes, and I have a suspicion that you're going to have the alpha female win.
Well, it is 8 minutes, and Serena takes most of the heat on this, but Mickie then makes the comeback, and she's fighting hard, and, Alexa Bliss is doing a lot of running, but then Mickie starts getting the better of Camille. Camille starts getting rocked because Mickey's just a little bit faster. She's about to hit the DDT. She goes to lift up, and as she lifts up where her feet, she's basically like parallel with the ground. Camille just takes her strength and just runs and vaults Mickie up and over the top rope, and Mickie lands, basically does a flat back bump over the top rope, and it's a disqualification. But Mickie is really banged up. Like, you could tell she is not in the right way. And Serena immediately comes in and starts like yelling out and cussing out Camille. And as that happened, Alexa Bliss, who reached behind, where their corner was, because Serena's facing Camille away from where Alexa Bliss's corner is, takes a bracer and hits Serena Deeb in the back of the head with the bracer, and they both roll out and get the hell out of Dodge. And Camille and Alexa Bliss have now incapacitated both Mickie and Serena eventually gets up and shakes it off, but Mickie has to be helped to the back by referees. She's not gonna be stretchered out. That's a little extreme, but she needs help. Medical assistance.
To the back by referees.
Yeah, and
Serena Deeb too.
And so Serena banged up, got taken advantage of. Alexa Bliss and Camille technically lose the match by over the top rope disqualification because she just threw Mickie over the top. So Serena and Mickie technically win, but at what cost? And obviously the people who got the last laugh were Camille and Alexa Bliss.
I have a question.
I have an answer.
How much of this is influenced by Mickie James' real-life situation of if she loses another match, she retires?
Well, I'm just making sure, in case she ends up retiring, that I've written her off in case, I don't want her involved in anything major just in case.
Which is probably fair because at this point, Mickie James is just a veteran to help out younger wrestlers along.
Right.
She's there to work with Camille and help her get better because Camille still has that star quality aura and she's getting better in the ring, but she's never going to be great/natural.
Yeah, she's working at it. And really, her incapacitating and potentially ending the career of Mickie James is a huge endorsement, really, in a lot of ways, for what Camille is trying to present. And so that's where this is fed, but it also still gives a direction for Camille and Alexa Bliss, because Serena is obviously going to be pissed about that and is going to want some level of payback. So we may end up seeing them, come to blows again before the year's out.
All right, I like this so far.
So, and this isn't even the title match part of the women's division. This is the secondary portion of the women's division.
Well, you need other stuff going on besides the title match, because if you only have the title matches going on, you only have one, maybe two opportunities if you have a tag team division to get women's wrestling on the show.
Right.
You want to give them as many opportunities as you possibly can.
Right. But they also have to be quality. I'm not just going to put women's matches on for the sake of having women's matches on either. And that's the thing. This is the first multi-women match I've had as a tag match. This is the first women's tag match I've had. But it feels important because there's build to it. And, you know, I want to make sure that other women, you know, when the title scene changes, I have people ready for that. And it doesn't seem like it's out of the blue like it does with WWE sometimes. It's like, oh, random person pops up and is now #1 contender.
And now you're going to challenge for the women's championship. That almost means nothing.
Right. So we're trying not to do that. But
remember when randomly, like, Alicia Fox got a title match versus Paige?
Yeah, and I thankfully do not remember the match.
It wasn't that good.
Yeah, wow, what a surprise. That's WWE legend Alicia Fox, by the way.
Shut up.
Yeah, that's not my words, that's their words. But speaking of words, we have a new in-ring announcer because JR is obviously now doing commissioner work, so we had to grab somebody new. So, our in-ring announcer, not the one calling the people to the ring, but our just in-ring announcer doing interviews, is Kevin Kelly.
Oh, I thought you were going to get Michael Cole to do double duty.
No. That's not necessary. I thought about getting Coach, but I don't want Coach. I'd rather...
Coach isn't good.
Exactly. I think Kevin Kelly is the exact right level of professionalism that you need, you know, in a position like this. So Kevin Kelly's going to be the new in-ring guy, and I thought about promoting Tony to in-ring, but God, I don't want that in the main stage. He's better off backstage. Just kind of watching things develop. That's the one thing AEW understood is that get Tony in the ring and then get him as far away from anything happening as possible.
But he's also in the ring doing commentary sometimes.
Oh, and that is such fulfilling commentary. I'm having so much fun. This is great. But you're not going to see this fun stuff anywhere else.
I'll suck your dick, Excalibur.
Basically. So, anyway, Kevin Kelly, who is not these people, is in the ring and goes, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kevin Kelly, and thank you for letting me be a part of ACPW, a very exciting promotion here. And the first people I'm interviewing are champions, the tag champions, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, Wrestling's Finest. And down come Wrestling's Finest and Roddy, who is pissed. You can see, like, Roddy's pissed. They're all kind of pissed. And they all come in the room and goes, well, Bobby and Kyle, you have done what very few people would have said on paper you'd be able to do. You retired the Hardys and you ended the career of the tag team of Beer Money. What is next for the tag champions? And Kyle O'Reilly takes the mic, or well, he doesn't take it, but it's pushed in his direction, and O'Reilly says, you know, I'm really not in the mood to hang out with fatter Jim Ross, so we're going to make this quick. We're not very happy tonight that Adam Cole stuck his business where his business didn't belong. Last I remembered, Adam Cuck was just another member of the lowest common denominator, close to the chopping block, unworthy of being put into the same breathing space as Wrestling's Finest. And rest assured, Adam Cole, if you think that we're afraid of you, we've watched what you've become. Grow some balls, then we'll talk. And Bobby Fish goes, and then, you know, it goes, the microphone goes to Bobby Fish, and Bobby goes, you know, as far as Wrestling's Finest and the tag champions are concerned, we're not concerned because there's nobody to fight. Because the fact is, we've destroyed this tag division ever since we've become the tag champions. The Hardys, drunks, drug addicts, gone. Alcoholics, money favorable. At least Bobby Roode had a brain when we finally ended their careers. But the fact of the matter is, this tag division is empty because we've cleaned it out. We've drained the swamp, and there's no one left to fight Wrestling's Finest. And no swamp creature, No tag team that feels dignified, no pair of blondes out of college is going to stop Wrestling's Finest from being the greatest ACPW tag team champions of all time. It doesn't matter who thinks they're capable, because no one is capable of beating Wrestling's Finest. And Roddy is about to take the mic and continue this. When you hear cheers coming and you see the heads turn, there's no music, but all you see is one man, and that's Mark Briscoe. And Mark Briscoe, Mark Briscoe just starts smiling, and he finally waves over, and out comes from the back Jay Briscoe. And the two of them walk down, and why it took so long for the other one to come out, you had to pee or something, I don't know. It was sequential. So they see that it's Mark Briscoe, and then all of a sudden, hey, what the hell are you two doing here? You know, they're talking into the microphone with that Kevin Kelly's still holding, by the way. And in comes the Briscoes, and the Briscoes just kind of back. Roddy goes up and gets right in Mark's face, and Mark just decks him. And Roddy goes down. And he holds his arm, and he takes the microphone, or takes Kevin Kelly's arm and goes, see, the funny thing is, you said drain the swamp, but you two fools ain't never been to the swamp. You've never been in the dirt. You've never been in the mud. You've never been in the muck. You don't know what a hard day's work in your life stands for. And the fact of the matter is, you two ending careers, we barely had careers to begin with before we were here in ACPW. We don't care about your stupid stipulations. All we care about are your tag titles. And you say there's nobody left. Well, consider this your nobodies staring you in the damn face, because you and I and you and Jay, we got ourselves a meeting. And that meeting is going to be a winter warfare. We agree to your terms preliminarily. That's right, I used a big man college word. Y'all remember that? Because the fact is, y'all don't know what we're capable of, and we're more than ready to whip your ass farm style. Titles versus career, you're on. Let's see how yellow-bellied your yellow shirts are. And Roddy has gotten up, and it looks like they're about to go, and you know the Briscoes take their shirts off, you know, because that used to be a way of showing intimidation, like, come on, let's go. And slowly but surely, Wrestling's Finest kind of back away and walk back up the ramp. And Kevin Kelly says, well, ladies and gentlemen, the Briscoes have laid down a challenge. Of course, it'll be up to JR to sign it, but there we have a wild return in the Briscoes. The challenge laid down to the tag champions. Winter Warfare with the tag titles on the line. Will it be? But right now, the Wrestling's Finest didn't want anything to do with the Briscoes. Matt and Taz, let's get back to you.
Yeah, I don't blame Wrestling's Finest not wanting any piece of the Briscoes.
I've been sitting on the Briscoes for a minute, and I really didn't know what to do with them, but I knew that they had to end up being baby faces. And they were heels for a long while, but in this circumstance, I need a baby-faced veteran tag team that can still kind of keep the Legend Killers story going with Wrestling's Finest.
Because Wrestling's Finest is basically going after all the great tag teams of the teens. Taking out Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy, taking out Beer Money. Now they're going for the Briscoes. And again, it makes sense because the Briscoes are up there in age. They're getting close to retirement. They don't wrestle as much as they used to. And
here's the most interesting thing about this is in the other two circumstances, Wrestling's Finest went after the Hardys, and Beer Money won a number one contenders match, but they basically went after Beer Money. This time, it was the Briscoes coming after Wrestling's Finest. They're the ones who have been hunted for the first time. Does that make a difference?
It'll be interesting to see. Damn it, Sean, your tag division is so good. Like, even when I get the acclaim, it's still nothing compared to your tag division.
Well, thank you, sir. I mean, I've really tried to put effort into this tag division, so it's not... You don't end up losing out on certain things. Like, yes, I've dissolved a good amount of tag teams. Like, truthfully, I don't know when the other shoe's going to drop on this tag division, because I built up a lot of older teams, which is why I'm kind of thinning the herd a little bit. And I'm going to have to kind of make some new tag teams and roll with those. And Orange Guava just ain't going to cut it.
And when will that happen? During the draft. But only if you like, share, and subscribe to the Court Martial Podcast.
That's right. That'll be coming next January. So if you're still riding with us then, you'll be able to see it then. So we've got that, and that's getting set. And now we've got another match.
Right, but real quickly,
yes.
I think the whole thing is that, again, we're not dealing with static rosters. Rosters change all the time. People get hired, people get fired, people retire, people just appear out of nowhere.
It's healthy.
It's healthy. It's never meant to stay static, because if it stays static, it gets boring.
Well,
and you need stuff to...
And that's a big problem with WWE right now. Like, you want to care about a lot of the people there, but they've been there for fucking ever. It's like, Sheamus, I want to really like Sheamus more than I can, because at some level, you've seen him on WWE TV for almost 13 years.
Yep. Except for the 1 year that he was injured and we got to like him for 2 or 3 more years, but then we were like, okay, we're sick of you again.
How can I miss you if you won't go away? And that's been probably the biggest problem with WWE, is that they do not cycle talent well enough. And
well, now they're starting to learn how to do it, because Sheamus is not on TV right now. He got written off with an injury angle so he can go get married and have a honeymoon. I'm like, great. You're going to be gone for a couple of months. Now I can miss you and I want you back.
Yes. And considering, the matches that he left on, which are the ones with Walter, that's pretty solid.
And the possibility of Sheamus versus Roman Reigns.
That's right. Well, yeah. God, could you imagine if Sheamus is the one to do it?
I don't think he's going to be the one to do it, but the Bloodline attacked him, injured him, and caused him to be gone from TV, so that would be a natural point. And Sheamus versus Roman on its own is a great world title match.
I'll bet you that will be like the feud after Roman loses the belt.
Survivor Series, War Games.
He's not going. Oh, he's going to be back shortly then.
Like maybe Survivor Brawling Brutes versus the Bloodline.
Okay, but he's not going to be taking months off. He's just.
I mean, he's out right now. He could be gone for like a month or so and then come back in November.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see. We will definitely have to see. But speaking of things that we have to see, it is what I'm going to actually probably admit is the match of the night, which goes to show it's kind of an indictment on the rest of the show. But like, we're going to do the Mid-South thing. We're going to give you the best match kind of early on or in the middle.
I mean, you're following 80s style wrestling, so this is 80s style wrestling.
Yeah, it's
matches and a couple of promos in between, but mostly matches that are weirdly structured.
Well, it's Bobby Roode versus Eli Drake. This match has a 15-minute time limit. How long do you think it goes, and who do you think wins?
14 minutes, Bobby Roode.
Well, I gave it 12. I didn't
guess 12 first.
I didn't put it into the final minute, but I do really like the finish here, because this is going to be back and forth, because I don't want to diminish Eli Drake too much, because I do still have high hopes for him, and I still do have plans for him, but right now I need him to be the guy who's launching certain other things in motion.
AKA the mid-card babyface.
Right. So, yeah, exactly. So, the way this is going to end up is that Eli Drake ends up getting Bobby Roode on the turnbuckle, and he starts getting prepared for a superplex, right? And he's getting him set up. He's on the second rope, right? Is Eli Drake. So he's not going up to the very top. He's on the second rope, but he's trying to get Bobby Roode in that suplex position. He get his arm up. Bobby Roode gets a thumb to the eye that the referee can't really see from his position, but the camera clearly can. Slams Eli Drake's head against the turnbuckle. Eli Drake is about to fall backwards, but Bobby Roode catches him, lifts him up, and double R spine busters him from the top rope.
Ooh.
Cover 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean,
That's pretty good, not gonna lie.
Yeah. And that's why I said this was going to be the match of the night, because I had to give the fans something on this show, match-wise, that they're going to be able to go, man, that was really fun. And so that's a top rope double R spine buster.
I'm trying to picture doing the spine buster for the top rope. I'm trying to picture it.
Keep in mind that Robert Roode's legs are on the second rope, by the time that he does this, right? And gets him into position for it. So it's not like he's coming from the very top and hitting him, but it's still like a pretty emphatic spine buster.
So it's like from the second rope you twist. Oh God, that's a rotating spine buster. Ooh.
Yeah. So then Kevin Kelly gets into the ring because Bobby Roode's got a promo.
Bobby Roode requests the presence of the scoundrel known as Kevin Kelly to appear before him.
That's right. Now, Kevin Kelly gets into the ring. Now, the fans are very mixed about this because, of course, last week was the betrayal of James Storm at the hands of Robert Roode. And so he wins this match, and it's a good match, but he still won by cheating, which the fans got to see. So they're still booing him. And Kevin Kelly gets in the ring and goes, well, Robert, what a good, and before he continues, he goes, it's Bobby. I know it's your first day. Get it right. And Kevin Kelly goes, okay, Bobby Roode, pardon me. Congratulations, first of all, on your incredible win here tonight against Eli Drake. That was a hell of a match. But the entire world wants to know, why did you betray James Storm, your partner for many years as Beer Money, last week? And Bobby Roode goes, now I understand that we are in Tampa, Florida tonight. And just like Tom Brady, I'm going to divorce any idea of my love for this place. Because your record clearly shows that just like Tom Brady, I, like the Buccaneers, have to shed the useless old pieces of trash like I did James Storm.
Boo, you suck, you suck, you suck.
Because James Storm, I've known for a long time. And remember, the only reason that he ever got a job here was that I told him this was the place to be, thinking that maybe that the prospect of the best talent in the world that ACPW brings would be enough to have him clean up his act. And he came here, and he drank, and he drank, and he drank, and he drank, and he stumbled around, and he proved that when it came to the time when the it factor needed that title, that James Storm was going to be the same pathetic drunk he's always been. And I have standards. I am glorious, Kevin Kelly. And these people in Tampa better get used to real star power like Bobby Roode. Because Bobby Roode isn't going anywhere. But James Storm is getting his ass kicked back to rehab where it belongs. Because I've been told that JR has signed a new match for Winter Warfare 2 weeks from now. Bobby Roode versus James Storm. And James, look into my eyes. If you can see them, look in whichever pair of my eyes you can see. And I want you to understand and hear these words. When I kick your ass come Winter Warfare, when I leave you in a heap on the mat, and my hand is raised and I banish you from this company forever, I want you to remember that I didn't ruin Beer Money. You blew it again. Sober up, because it's about to get a lot harder from now on for you. And I'd say sorry about your damn luck, but you never had any to begin with, because you had me.
Ooh, ooh, ooh,
And Kevin Kelly goes, well, Bobby, strong words for James Storm, and James is going to be here next week, so we'll have to see whether he responds. But until that time, Bobby Roode, a victorious match here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back right after this.
Oh boy, we just destroying everybody with alcohol addiction today, aren't we?
Well, it's I mentioned it's something that had to be addressed, and it's something that I think, especially with the feud that Bobby and James had before in TNA, it feels like that is the place to mention it, and the fact that Bobby did bring James along, and they were somewhat successful, but never really won the big one, which Beer Money had a problem with for a long time before TNA finally made them like 7-time champions, but
we don't talk about that.
But, well, that's why Beer Money was good in the first place. It's that was during TNA's good years, I thought, but still. That was
during the years that TNA had the best tag team division in wrestling, because you had Beer Money, you had what was that Mexican team? LAX. You had 3D. You had the Motor City Machine Guns. You had all these other tag teams.
Lethal Consequences was pretty good.
Lethal Consequences was very good.
There were quite a few. They even had I forget what they were called, VKM, which was Doug and Billy Gunn for a little while.
Yep. I mean, even when they had single stars at the time, like Scott Steiner and Booker T, that's a great tag team.
Yeah. Yeah, there was definitely a lot to celebrate about TNA's tag division at a time, because they actually put effort into it. But I needed to give Roode not only a good win, but also a good set of rationale and the motivations for why he's in this spot, but he's not afraid to kind of put the past behind him. So that's where this promo came from, and I think that it definitely furthers things along.
Yeah, agreed. Plus, I mean, Bobby Roode is going to get so much heat out of any audience just with his promo. He's probably one of the best promo people that we don't talk about as much as we should.
Well, because when's the last time he was given the chance?
Yeah.
Realistically. I hate to say it, but when's the last time that we saw Bobby Roode in form? I always thought that his stuff, when he broke out against James Storm, I thought that he proved that he was world championship material and that he had really grown as an athlete and a worker. And it's sad that he's become basically just the second half of Dolph Ziggler's tag team. Yeah. So it's just a shame. It's just a shame because he's so talented and he got lost in the shuffle again. But you know what? Maybe Triple H will resurrect him because Triple H was always high on Bobby Roode.
There are a lot of other reclamation projects that Triple H has, and I'm not sure how he's going to do with. I mean, we'll see.
We'll see. You never know, but we've got another match on our hands. Sky, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
It's Dr. Britt Baker versus Ashley Vox.
I wonder who's going to win in 7 minutes. I think they may be a doctor.
7 minutes? Damn. No, this goes 4, and Dr. Britt gets the lockjaw and Ashley Vox taps.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So, then Kevin Kelly gets his ass back in the ring. And he goes,
you're making Kevin Kelly work a lot today.
First night, breaking him in.
Trial by fire.
Well, getting people used to him, that's part of it. He goes, well, ladies and gentlemen, Britt, obviously a very good win here tonight. You are, as it stands, the #1 contender as it remains for the ACPW Women's Championship. And Dr. Britt Baker, kind of pushes Kevin Kelly forward and goes, look, you're new. I'm not going to criticize you. I'm not going to get mad at you. All I'm saying is most people in the ring have a hat. Wear a hat. Look, Speaking of people with hats, we've got ourselves a new commissioner. And I've got a bone to pick right now, because you said something, Kevin Kelly. You said the alleged #1 contender for the women's championship. No. I am the women's champion. And it's time to get coronated properly by the proper commissioner of ACPW. So, JR, I know it's your first day too. Get your ass out here, because I am the rightful women's champion, and it's time that I get my belt. And Kevin Kelly goes, oh, well, the JR has been summoned here by Dr. Britt Baker, and JR comes down, he walks down and stands up, and he just stands and looks at Britt and says, all right, go ahead. And Britt says, look, you can't deny the facts, Jim Ross. The fact is, I won at Midsummer Showdown, albeit disqualification, but I won. I broke the jaw of Shayna Baszler, the alleged women's champion, the fake women's champion, last week. So you have got a jawless champion who can't compete, which means she has to forfeit her belt, which means that my win against her makes me women's champion. Do the right thing, JR, and crown me your women's champion. And Kevin Kelly moves the microphone to JR and goes, well, Britt, you and I have stood face to face from each other quite a few times, never in this capacity. And Kevin, if you want my hat, you can borrow it any time. But Dr. Britt, this isn't how it's going to go, where you just ask for things and you get them. Because I watched what happened the past couple of weeks. I was here. I was just right in that corner, watching everything. And I know what happened. And in the time that I've learned that I was going to be commissioner, I decided to go the extra mile and talk to some people who have had ongoing issues in ACPW. And one of those people happens to be the ACPW champion, Shayna Baszler. And you are right. You did break her jaw with the locked jaw. And I'm thankful you didn't do that to Ashley Vox here tonight. However, Shayna Baszler is tougher than you think, because her jaw had to be wired shut. And as a result, she insists, against the advice of her doctors, that she is going to be okay to wrestle you at Winter Warfare with the belt on the line, because nobody injures Shayna Baszler and lives to tell the tale. So I've been told. And because I'm not the kind of guy to get involved in these situations, I'm going to let you two hash this out. But you will not know the stipulation for that match until next week. But know that Shayna, I mean, she couldn't tell me as such, but if looks could kill, I'd be pushing up daisies. So I can only imagine what she wants to do to you. And JR goes to leave, and Britt Baker is like half satisfied. But, you know, keep in mind, Reba and Jamie are also in the ring with her. You know, it's the whole posse. And they're pissed. And Britt's like kind of confused, but like you could see like she's feigning confidence, but you could kind of see some fear in her eyes. That Shayna's hurt, but that's not stopping her from coming back and trying to get some revenge on Dr. Britt Baker. But the stipulation for that women's championship match is going to be next week.
At least we don't have to worry about any neck bites.
No, jaw's wired shut. That ain't happening.
Again, I like this. I like the promotion of this match. This is probably the best match that you can have in your women's division currently, because both of them are good enough to put on the type of match that you need for a world title match and a big show.
I think so, yeah. And you know, with the way that I did this, I really wanted to sell, because Dr. Britt Baker gives up so much in the height and weight and the stature advantage that Shayna Baszler has. I have to give Dr. Britt Baker some sort of leverage. And the fact that she popped open broke the jaw of Shayna Baszler shows that just how dangerous that move is. And now you know, if she opens a jaw that's wired shut, that's going to cause some serious damage, you know, long-term damage to Shayna Baszler. So she's got a lethal weapon, and we've got an injured champion, but she insists that she's going to fight anyway.
Because that's what Shayna Baszler does, because she's a badass. Take note.
That's right, a fighting champion. Now, we are in the second half of this show, finally.
How many matches have we had already?
We have had 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 6 matches. I'm sorry, we have 6 matches on this show.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we're keeping track.
Yes, so I've peppered them in. But we're at the top of the hour. And of course, the top of the hour, we come back from break, and Kevin Kelly is in the ring again. And he goes, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, and this is the first time I've had the pleasure of meeting these individuals, but I have been briefed on what they're about. Please welcome the Cult of Cornette, Jim Cornette, Bryan Danielson, Jeff Cobb, FTR, and Randall Keith Orton.
So every member.
Everybody's out here tonight. And Jim Ross is in the ring, and everybody's looking, you know, all badass. And Kevin Kelly goes, well, Jim, it's you and I actually go way back. You know, we have a history together, and you know, it's great to see you here, and it's great to be able to talk to you for the first time. And the Cult has been very busy the past couple of weeks trying to keep everything leveraged. And why don't you give us your thoughts, especially now that we know about Jeff Cobb and Walter's match stipulation, where if Walter wins, you wrestle Arn Anderson 5 minutes. And Jim Cornette goes, Kevin Kelly, I've got a lot of respect for you. In a very similar way to Jim Ross, you and I, we go way back, and I've always had that level of respect. You've always been a professional, and I thank you for that. And I want to say that to you because I was really afraid they were going to get some moron to stand here who doesn't know shit from apple butter about professional wrestling to try to ask me questions, and I know you do. And I appreciate the fact that ACPW's brass had the brass to hire a real professional wrestling announcer. But now that you have to go change your pants because of what I just said about you, let's talk about the previously soiled pants of everybody here in Tampa, Florida, not because they're in awe of what they see, but because they can't afford a couple of quarters to go to the laundromat. I have never smelled a town as far a distance as I have Tampa, Florida. And I understand that Ian caused some problems, but trust me when I say the floodwaters don't always have to be coming out of your ass.
Boo! Boo! Even though that's really good, but still boo.
But I want you all to clench it in right now because you're in the presence of far greater talent, far greater athletes, far greater individuals than any of these individual backwards asswipes in Florida tend to be.
Ooh.
There's no wonder that half of your leaders get raided. Because nobody seems to know how to keep a hold of themselves and get to hold a secret. And there's no secret that the greatest talent that has graced ACPW for 3 years has been the Cult of Cornette. You've got the finest specimen, pound for pound, the greatest athlete in the history of professional wrestling, the Hawaiian Lion, Jeff Cobb, who is not afraid to take down this Austrian asshole, who thinks that because he can pose his hand behind his back and puff out his chest, that he is somehow superior in stature than the almighty Jeff Cobb. How many championships have you won? You lost to a woman with a brick in her purse, and we're supposed to be afraid of you? You have Arn Anderson's endorsement. Well, Arn Anderson isn't here anymore, is he? And he won't be getting to lay a hand on me because I have something that Arn Anderson has never had, and that is a brain to go behind the brawn. And I've got plenty of brawn, and this one doesn't make choo-choo noises. This one whips ass, takes names, wins championships, and will leave Walter where he belongs. In the scrap heap in the rest of the dog pound. Somebody put a muzzle on that guy, and Jeff Cobb's gonna be the one to do it. As for people that don't deserve the accolades they've been getting, the people that don't deserve to wrestle the precipice of professional wrestling in the cult, I hear Titus O'Neil's giving an update tonight. Yeah, the hometown boy, Titus O'Neil, the yellow-bellied, good-for-nothing, weak, fragile-necked champion that we all knew was a pathetic coward from the beginning. He's going to give us an update tonight about how his career is done. I'm going to spoil it for you folks. Randy Orton retired your God. And you will have to live with that for the rest of your smelly-ass lives. As for Bryan Danielson, the greatest technical wrestler today. No offense, Randy. You are one of the best wrestlers in the world today. They're all the best wrestlers. No place, no group has been able to ever be assembled with this level of talent in one place, in one group, acting as one unit. And Brian, I know you insisted tonight that the rest of the cult doesn't stay for your match. And that's what I love about you. And that's what I respect about you. You get things done by yourself. You've never needed us, but we're here for you. All you got to do is throw up the signal, and we're there for you. But we don't need to be there for a man like Bryan Danielson, a master of the mat. And his opponent tonight, well, he's going to find that he's a little bit too short to make the cut. He can maybe throw some hoops, but a bunch of participation trophies doesn't compare to results. And Bryan Danielson is pound for pound the manufacturer of results. Don't believe us? Watch him tonight. And then, my boys, the two men who have redefined professional wrestling tag teams as we know it, the standard bearers for tag team wrestling, FTR, who took care of business the way that they had to. And Kevin Kelly goes, well, Jim, if I'm not mistaken, I know it's my first night, but if I'm not mistaken, the Varsity Blondes have beaten FTR twice. And Jim goes, okay, let's not get too ahead of ourselves, Kevin. Because the fact of the matter is, the Varsity Blondes are a sham. The Varsity Blondes are living off the legacy of a man who's been dead for 20 years. And I don't respect people who hang on to the memories of dead men for 20 years. We see it far too frequently in this business. So FTR did what FTR had to do. You want to live off Pillman's legacy? Well, we Pillmanized Griff Garrison. And now we don't have to worry about those pathetic losers, those Johnny-come-latelys who tried to be something that they weren't. They weren't a real tag team. They're not real wrestlers. And if Brian Pillman Jr. knew what was good for him, he'd go the route of his mother and fade into obscurity. Ooh. And Kevin Kelly goes, that's pretty harsh to say. He goes, oh, well, that's harsh. Well, the world is harsh, Kevin. ACPW is harsh, Kevin. And I get what I want around here. You don't understand that yet. But I always get what I want. And the cult will always get what it wants. And right as he's in the middle of that, Brian Pillman Jr. walks into the ramp, and he has got a gigantic grin on his face. And he is walking down, and he is like, nothing can bring him down. And the cult is like, and they're all looking at him going, Brian, what the hell are you doing down here? Didn't you learn your lesson, kid? You're really going to go 1-on-5 against the cult of Cornette? I knew you were stupid. but I didn't know you were already on the drugs your mother was taking.
Hell?
And Pillman Jr., he just looks down. You could tell that bothered him, but he just kind of tries to shake it off, and he goes back to smiling, and Kevin Kelly goes, well, Brian, you've heard a lot of scathing, very personal things that I don't really agree with here from Jim Cornette, but you seem to be in a good mood. What's the occasion? And Brian Pillman goes, I'm here, not for long, but to deliver a message. And it's a message that I am very excited to deliver, because you have said many times, Jim Cornette, that I'm living off the legacy of my father. Well, both my parents are dead. There's no doubt about that. And you tried to paralyze Griff Garrison. And Griff is in the hospital, and he is recovering from his broken leg, so he will be out come Winter Warfare. But if you recall, because your long-term memory seems to be good, Jim, but your short-term memory isn't. Because Arn Anderson said to you that I had a new partner. And I do have a new partner. You've said that I've been living off the legacy of my father. Well, it's because of my father that I became a professional wrestler. And it is in the honor of my father that I work day in and day out to make him proud, to make my mom proud, to make these people proud, and to prove to people like you that I am better than what they say a kid who is a second-generation wrestler may or may not have. I've had it, always will had it, and if I need to break loose, I will break loose. But I don't need to, because I've got somebody to assist me in breaking loose. I've got someone to assist me in raising hell. And you said that we live off the legacy of the Hollywood Blondes. Well, in order to take you down a peg, I found a member of the Hollywood Blondes. Because your opponents at Winter Warfare for FTR are going to be Brian Pillman Jr. and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Don't believe me? He'll be here next week, and that's the bottom line. Because Brian Pillman Jr. said so.
Oh, hell yeah.
And the Cult are beside themselves. They're like, it's not true. Jim's like, that's not happening. There's no way that's happening. And Kevin Kelly goes, well, Brian Pillman Jr. just shook the Cult to its core. Jim, do you have anything to say in response? And Cornette is not even paying attention to Kevin Kelly. He's now directing traffic, talking to FTR, talking to Jeff Cobb, talking to Randy. Brian is kind of like getting ready for his match. And Kevin Kelly goes, well, the Cult of Cornette certainly shaken by that news. And we've got Bryan Danielson's match coming up next, right after this.
I was wondering when you were finally going to break out Stone Cold.
So that was the plan from the beginning.
That was the plan from the beginning?
I'm going to get Brian Pillman Jr. over with Stone Cold Steve Austin against FTR and Jim Cornette.
Yeah, part of me actually thought that you were going to have Stone Cold be the commissioner for your show after Arn Anderson.
It crossed my mind, but I think with the opportunity to use Steve in a wrestling capacity just this once, I had to find a way to make one match with him work. And I think this is probably the safest outcome for him. You're facing the best tag team in the world, and Brian Pillman is good enough to where the three of them can really help him along.
Plus, Jim Cornette knows enough about wrestling that he can help direct traffic.
Right. And so this is, what do you think of the idea of the Hollywood Blondes kind of reuniting? And Steve being used in a tag match as opposed to a one-on-one capacity.
Well, this is pretty cool, all things considered, having Austin team up with the son of the original Brian Pillman. I figured you were going to have Stone Cold do something with Jim Cornette because we all want Jim Cornette to take a stunner again.
Yep.
It's just a weird way to get there, but I'm all for it.
So, and that's, so you were mentioning the tag division. Well, the tag division just got Stone Cold in it. Briefly, but...
It is what it is. By the way, folks, for those of you who don't know, me and Sean, ever since he announced that he was going to pick up Stone Cold, I've been trying to guess what he was going to do with them, and I didn't guess this.
Yeah, which is great.
Every other month, I'm trying to guess what the hell you're doing with Stone Cold.
Yeah, I'm glad I kept those cards close to my chest until we reached this moment. Because it had to be a place where you wouldn't expect Steve to show up. But then once you see him show up, you're like, oh, that makes so much sense.
Not for lack of trying, because there were other options you could have gone with Stone Cold. And that's the great thing about him.
Yeah. Yeah, oh, absolutely. You know, and you want to talk about a money-drawing get. You know, that there's chances are Winter Warfare just for Stone Cold alone is going to draw us our biggest house ever. Especially because I've chosen the venue.
What's the
Folks,
venue?
Winter Warfare is coming out of Madison Square Garden. They're not booking it, so I am.
Okay. Do you want to know what I'm going to take for Wrestle Festival?
Where are you going?
Levi Stadium.
There you go. I love it.
We're going big.
We're moving up in the world. We're moving up in the world. All right. Are you ready for the next segment?
Sure.
The next segment is a match. It is Bryan Danielson versus Shorty G.
What?
Yes, sir.
Wait, is Shorty G a babyface now?
No, he is not.
So this is heel versus heel.
Correct.
Okay, then.
How long do you think this goes? Who do you think wins?
10 minutes, Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, well, this match goes about 3 thereabouts. And
3 minutes?
The reason why is that they get into some lockups and Danielson is kind of outworking Shorty G. And in the middle of this match, you see some motion, you see some heads turn, but they're like turning up and like to the back of where they are. And you hear some cheers, but like the camera doesn't focus on it. And they're doing stuff in the ring, but you see more and more heads turn. And, you know, you're seeing now the commentaries are like, the fans are turning and looking at something. And eventually getting to the stairs and walking down the stairs and across the side. Can you guess who's coming in from the crowd?
What, is it Sting?
It's Jon Moxley.
Oh, no. No.
Right in the middle of this match. And he comes in and, you know, he hops the guardrail and he comes in and he goes up and Danielson and Shorty G just look at him. And the crowd is excited to see him for some reason. But they're excited to see him. He looks at Danielson. He looks at Shorty G. And he gives the double underhook DDT to Shorty G. Causing another disqualification. Danielson wins.
Dragunov is going to love your show.
I know.
Come on, shouldn't Shorty G win?
Let's just bear with me here. So, out comes Kevin Kelly. You know, Danielson's confused. Danielson's just looking there going like, the hell is this? And Moxley and Danielson have this moment, you know, where Danielson kind of looks at him and goes like, and kind of just laughs. He kind of laughs in Moxley's face and Moxley laughs in Danielson's face. And then again, sweeping, you know, the DDT, the underhook DDT, Danielson, you know, goes out and he holds his jaw and he kind of like backs out and he's looking at Moxley, but Kevin, you know, Moxley's looking around. The crowd is cheering him, and in comes Kevin Kelly again. And Kevin Kelly goes, well, Jon Moxley, you weren't scheduled to be here tonight, and I'm not sure how you got past all the, you know, the crowd, but you're here, and you clearly have something on your mind. And Moxley goes, so, Tampa, Florida. Did you miss me? Because I missed you. ACPW. I've never met you before, but you know who I am. And the guy you've seen, the guy you've heard about, the guy who drinks blood and breaks bones, he's gone. Because I'm tired of hearing people, particularly out of this company, running their mouth, running their dick liquor, talking about how I can't wrestle, how Jon Moxley is just some balding plumber. Well, there's one thing that I know how to fix, and it's a funny thing about pipes. They're pretty mangled up, aren't they? And that's what I do, is I mangle people. I mangle them up, I break them down, I break them until they cannot get up anymore. But the one thing that nobody expects from Jon Moxley is wrestling. And in ACPW, I'm here to wrestle. And so the person I'm fighting first is the guy they say is the best. And that's Danielson. And I have no problem beating the tar out of a joke like Shorty G, because I'm not here to play jokes. I'm not here to play games. I'm here to kick ass. I'm here to wrestle and prove that a man can have his mind be a little bit to the side, but still wrestle like he is the perfect specimen. Doesn't matter where, doesn't matter when. I'm not brawling from the outside anymore. You're going to get inside this mind, and I'm going to win inside this ring. And Danielson is number one.
Okay.
So, Kevin Kelly, before you say this, Kevin Kelly goes, well, Jon Moxley vowing to wrestle and to actually wrestle here in ACPW. It's a weird thing to say, but we'll have to see what it means. And of course, Shorty G probably isn't going to be happy, so perhaps he'll have a match next week before he goes after Danielson. We'll find out. We'll find out next week. But Moxley making his presence felt, albeit under strange circumstances. Matt and Taz, let's get back to you.
What? Okay, Sean, you got some explaining to do.
Go ahead.
Why are you taking away a Shorty G Bryan Danielson match from me?
Because both are heels, and I needed a babyface to do something with both. And the people would be excited about Jon Moxley because he's coming from NWL. No matter where you used him, he was over in NWL. So people, this is like a pretty large debut, regardless of how you feel about Moxley. And remember, this is Moxley under my jurisdiction. And here's the funniest part. Next week, and I'm going to spoil this now, I'm switching his name back to Dean Ambrose.
Of course you're switching his name back.
Well, because that's going to be part of this. That's part of this. So
I will say this. Basically, the way you had him debut was the way he debuted in AEW.
Yeah.
He just rolls through the crowd as Chris Jericho's doing a promo and Kenny Omega's there. Jon Moxley gets in the ring, kicks somebody's ass.
Cuts a promo. Yeah.
Cuts a promo.
Yeah. I mean, that was the best part of Moxley in the AEW, was his debut. Everything went south from there.
Pretty much.
You know, and this is under my jurisdiction, and I have different rules, and this is under the assumption that he is going to do business the way that everybody else in ACPW does business. So, you know, this whole thing about him saying, I'm going to come here, and I have a reputation that I just garbage wrestle, and I am going to turn that reputation around, and I'm going to prove it by beating the most technical wrestler you've got on this program.
Now, please, with this, hopefully they'll have a better match than the one they had in real life. That formed the Combat Club.
Well, that match wasn't even that bad. It's just that it was on the same show where they had Punk and MJF already bleed. So by the time they did it, it meant so much less. The match itself was fine. It's just a shame, that's just AEW formatting. It makes everything look worse.
Yeah.
And before we get backstage, which we're going to get, we come back and it's Matt and Taz, and Matt says, welcome back. And Taz, I know that you wanted a minute here just to say a few words, and I wanted to give you the time. And Taz goes, well, thank you. Thanks, Matt. And I just wanted to let everyone in ACPW know that, the past 3 years have been a hell of a time for me. This is one of the greatest professional wrestling shows there is today, no doubt, bar none, non-discussion. ACPW is where it's at. But as far as where Taz is at, it's time for me to move on. And it's nothing in ACPW that has been the problem. I've just got different things I've got to tend to. I've got a family that I've got to look after. For one reason or another, ACPW has brought me many, many years of good memories, and I'm really thankful to have been a part of ACPW. This is not my last show. Winter Warfare is going to be my last show, but I wanted to take this moment to thank each and every one of you in ACPW, both in the back and out there watching, for 3 incredible years that I've been able to be a part of, and thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you down the road in the future.
Thank you. Clap, clap, clap.
And
clap. Thank you. Clap, clap.
And
clap,
Matt goes, Taz, I'm gonna miss you, man. I'm really gonna miss you, but I'm glad to have you here for the next couple of weeks. We're still gonna have a great time, as we head to Winter Warfare. And Taz like, oh, absolutely no doubt. Now the reason I'm doing this is that I have made, and I will explain this a little bit in more detail later on a different episode. Stay tuned for the Winter Warfare. I'll explain this in a little more detail, so come December. But I have negotiated a deal with SCCG where basically JR will be with me going forward full time after December, and the trade therefore is that SCCG is going to keep Taz exclusively. So as a result, I'm kind of writing Taz off for the next couple of weeks, but there's no animosity involved. It's just it was just a matter of business.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of disappointed I didn't get in on the announcer game first, because you got JR and Taz, and then now Joshua's gonna have Taz, and I'm stuck with Michael Cole.
And potentially Pat McAfee.
Yeah, but I've had Michael Cole and Corey Graves.
But you could now have Michael Cole and Pat McAfee, which softens the blow. And I just took Kevin Kelly. But I hear Excalibur is still looking for work.
I should have gotten Mike today, now that I think about it.
You still can. You still can get Mike today.
Although it depends on if Mike today is still active or not.
True. All right, now we are back, and we are now going backstage to Tony Schiavone, who has been not very active tonight. And he says,
to get Kevin Kelly to work in order to have him lose all the weight.
He's getting the horse's share, the lion's share, the whole thing. But anyway, hello, I am Tony Schiavone, backstage interviewer here for ACPW, and I am here alongside the man who won that match against Bryan Danielson just a second ago, albeit by disqualification, Shorty G, and Mr. Gable, if I may call you that. And he goes, no, you can't call me that, Tony. And in fact, who the hell does Jon Moxley think he is? Who does he think? This garbage wrestler, this guy who has people jerk off while he's fighting them, comes in. This pathetic ACPW really has lowered its standards. When you've got an Olympic medalist, a man who has won world championship gold in every single sport I participated in, and we're going to sign this guy? We're going to sign this jackass? This is pathetic. ACPW has reached a new low, and it is sad that ACPW would stoop to this level. And Moxley, if you've got any balls to face the real best technical wrestler in this company, then you will fight me next week. And you'll get to see that while this crowd may love you, I'm going to expose you for being nothing but a pathetic, garbage phony. Because you don't wrestle, you aren't a wrestler, and you sure as hell ain't entertaining. And that is a Shorty G guarantee. And before he finishes that, you hear from the side, oh God. And in walks Eli Drake. Eli Drake goes, man, I know we're late into the show, but God, Chad, you are boring me. Suck it up, man. So you got hit by somebody who is clearly better than you are. A lot of people have been made at your expense in ACPW. Let's call a spade, my friend. You are what the kids call mid. and Shorty G goes, oh really? Well, you couldn't beat a guy who sucked as a tag team in Bobby Roode. You lost to a man who was retired. And I'm supposed to take your ass seriously just because you decide that you care about male fashion for like 2 seconds? Is that really you? Or is it just another impersonator? I'm not an impersonation of anything. I have truly won championships. I've truly won belts, gold, medals, Olympics. I've done it all. And I'll stomp your sad ass, your pathetic ass, because you couldn't beat Bobby Roode. And he's ancient. And I'm in the prime of my life, and you're going to come at me like I'm boring? You're boring. And he goes, Eli Drake goes, oh really, I'm boring. Is this boring? And they start coming the blows. And Tony Schiavone's like, whoa, I don't want to get involved in this. And, eventually security kind of starts running, and they pull them apart and goes, well, these two, obviously, words exchanged between Eli Drake and Shorty G, and what will become of that? Clearly, two guys that are not having a good night, either of them. But what does this mean for either of these two's fate? And that, in regards to Jon Moxley, we'll find out. But let's get back to the ring, because we've got a pretty big segment coming up.
This is... Oh, Schiavone. Okay, I got nothing for this. Like, the fact that Eli Drake uses mid.
Would he not?
I mean.
Yeah, there you go.
Given all the modern terms we've used, like cancel culture, justice warrior, and mid.
Yep.
I mean, we're hip.
Yeah, you see how you said that I'm replicating the 80s, but would somebody from the 80s say mid? I don't think so.
80s updated.
That's right. With a fresh coat of paint. But the prospect
You're
of
just a square.
That's right. Well, the prospect of Shorty G and Eli Drake being a potential match going forward, but Shorty G has also challenged Jon Moxley, understandably so, after getting Bryan Danielson intentionally disqualified so that Shorty G would win, but that's not a win that he wanted. So, are you ready for the next segment?
Okay. Can I make a guess as to the next segment?
What is the next segment?
Is it Cody Rhodes and a certain woman?
No, it is not.
Damn.
Kevin Kelly's...
Okay, then what's next?
Kevin Kelly's in the ring and goes, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very interesting face-to-face that we're about to have for a matchup that is set up for Winter Warfare. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the first half of this contingent, Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar.
Oh, God.
And only Paul Heyman walks down to the ring. And he goes, well, ladies, and now the next half of this, and I'm wondering where Brock is, but let's bring down first Damian Priest. And Damian Priest comes down, and he's like towering over Paul Heyman. And Kevin Kelly goes, well, this was meant to be the face-to-face with Brock Lesnar and Damian Priest, but Paul, he's a pretty sizable guy. I feel like you can't really hide him many places. Where is Brock Lesnar? I've had quite a few years of my life spent in Tampa, Florida. And every time I come to Tampa, Florida, I'm reminded why I hate Tampa, Florida. It's not the sun that I hate. It's not the water that I hate. It's not the stupidity of the people that I hate, albeit it's prevalent. What I hate about Tampa, Florida is the audacity that Tampa, Florida has to believe that Brock Lesnar is the man to show up in a place like Tampa, Florida.
Boo, we want to see Brock.
I know that the people of Tampa were going, please, Paul, please bring the Beast Incarnate to Tampa, Florida. But Brock is busy being literally anywhere else. And Damian Priest, I want you to understand that this is a symbol of Brock Lesnar's respect for you. Because Brock respected you when you fought the first time. But then you disappointed Brock. You didn't get him mad, you disappointed Brock Lesnar when you decided to determine the fate of his match with CM Punk. And now Brock is only going to look at your eyes when he's in the ring with you at Winter Warfare. And when he does, that will be the last time that Damian Priest will live without needing a priest. Because your last rites will be given and your flesh will be fed to the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. And Kevin Kelly asked Paul, is that it? And Paul kind of shushes the microphone away from him, and Kevin goes, well, Damian, you face Paul Heyman instead of Brock Lesnar. And what do you have to say in response? And Damian Priest, he looks around and goes, you are one of the best liars in professional wrestling, Paul. Because I don't believe for a second that Brock Lesnar isn't here. And I know that you wanted to come out here, say some inflammatory remarks about the people of Tampa, Florida. And I know you wanted to say some inflammatory remarks about me. But I'm not afraid of Brock. I won't be afraid of him when he tries to rush me from behind in the middle of what I'm saying to you. And I'm not going to be afraid when I take my arrow and shoot through the heart of the beast. He may be a beast, but I hunt. And what I hunt, I kill. And I will beat Brock Lesnar. I will defeat the beast. And the handler of the beast had better learn how to run. Because if he doesn't, he will be shot next. And Paul Heyman looks afraid, and he starts walking towards Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman's getting a little, he's starting to back up and going, whoa, 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 whoa. And sure enough, Brock Lesnar runs down from the back. And this is something that has bothered me about pro wrestling my entire life. The fans cheer. They go, hey, it's Brock Lesnar. And unlike most times when this happens, and the babyface just goes, huh? And gets attacked, Damian Priest turns around and is ready for Brock with a big boot. And Brock goes down, and Damian Priest starts getting him into the corner. Brock takes him, turns Damian Priest over, starts giving him the shoulder thrusts into the corner. And it's back and forth, and it's brawling back and, it's face to face. They're going at it hard. And this is going to be like a full-blown, we got to pull them apart. The full-blown pull apart here. Because this is where it's going to get kind of out of hand. Referees are going to get shoved. They're really going to go after each other. It's a classic Brock Lesnar pull apart, but with Damian Priest. And neither guy really gets a huge advantage over the other at the end of it, but it's a big hoss fight. They've now been face-to-face. The idea that Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman had was thwarted because Damian Priest was an actual smart babyface, and this builds up to the confrontation they'll inevitably have come Winter Warfare. Your thoughts?
You get a lot of mileage out of Brock Lesnar being involved in pull-aparts.
Yeah, you get, well, he's the perfect kind of guy to need pulling apart from.
And very much, like, the people that he's done pull-aparts are with John Cena, Samoa Joe, The Undertaker, Roman Reigns. To put Damian Priest in that level is pretty interesting.
Well, it's a place that I feel like he always had and always could have, but, you know, in the same way that...
presented him right.
Yeah, it's all about presentation, you know? And when he's not jumping in a pool in skin-tight leather, you know, he's able to, and not teaming up with bad goddamn motherfucking Bunny, then we're in business.
Well,
so, now...
This is very interesting now.
Yes, and your thoughts on this feud with Damian Priest and how it's developed and going into this matchup that these two are going to have.
You're definitely presenting Damian Priest as a star, and you're doing everything you can to make him a star, and that's the most important part.
And, you know, and who knows how long we're going to be able to have Lesnar, too. So I want to be able to use him to be able to kind of help things along. At the same time, while not, like, diminishing who he is and what he's about.
Right, because you never know how long you're going to have Brock Lesnar available to do things.
Right. You know, and I don't bring Brock out for much. And, you know, and one of the things I wanted to really do in this face-to-face is kind of do the, well, he's not here. And Damian Priest going, that's a lie. That's 100%. No, he's here. And I bet you he's here. And I bet you this is a setup because I know you, Paul Heyman. You've done this for 20 years and you think I'm going to get fooled by this. You're dead wrong. I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of him.
Yep.
And, you know, I like when, you know, sometimes the obvious attack from behind works, but it's nice every so often to have a babyface be just a little bit smarter than that.
Because he knows it, and he can also hear the fans. I'm sure the fans will make reactions as they see Brock, so it's not like he's going to be completely unaware.
Right. And so now we move on to the next piece, because we would have, you know, obviously a commercial break, and we come back, and now we've got two VTR packages, and these won't take very long. But this is, we're talking about another face-to-face. We're having next week. We are having the contract signing for the ACPW Heavyweight Championship between MJF and Cody Rhodes. But prior to them meeting face-to-face, both of them have said a few words that they were going to present in these VTR packages. And MJF gets on and goes, Winter Warfare, I go one-on-one with Cody Rhodes again, Mr. Royalty himself, further proving that I was right all along about Cody Rhodes. And it's not like he deserves it. It's not like Cody's done anything to deserve anything he's gotten. It took the Wall and more. And I'm not just talking John Reese. I'm talking it took everything but the kitchen sink for him to win that belt. He hasn't defended it once since he's gotten it. But boy, has he talked like he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, which is a pathetic move that vanilla midgets use on the indie circuit. And that's where Cody belongs, is with vanilla midgets on the indie circuit. A world champion is somebody who earns it. A world champion is somebody who knows their worth and proves their worth. And so when I meet Cody for the contract signing next week, I'm going to get to tell him to his face one more time before I beat it into him like I've done many times before, that I'm better than you, and you know it. And then we move over to Cody's. And Katie Forbes is going to be like shaking her ass. And Cody's like sitting in like a big like chair. Not with the Triple H sign behind. I'm not getting that goofy about it. But he's in like an easy chair. And Katie Forbes
you know what you could do is that you could have him be like at a pool. him sitting in one of those like beach chairs. You have Katie Ford right behind him.
Well, that's not really the scene I want for this, though. I want it to be more like he's in like a leather chair, you know, something really upscale while he's like being his kingliness. And
okay, then he could be in like a library room with a fireplace.
Yeah, and Cody goes, I've had a lot of words spoken about your king. Katie, not now. And she's like, she says, she kind of stops and he gives her a kiss and goes, not now. And she kind of, she walks away and Cody's now staring into the camera and goes, your king has received a lot of backlash over the last several months about what his involvement level is, about his dedication to ACPW, to anything but himself, not realizing that I've put ACPW on my back and carried it this year since I've been your champion, your king, wrestling royalty. And next week at the contract signing, for those doubters, for those non-believers, for those disloyal subjects, you'll see just how much I carried this place, because I've got a secret that no one's ready to feel and no one's ready to see, because the truth, people don't like the truth, but I'm bringing the truth next week. You'll all see just how dedicated your champion is. And MJF, I'm glad it's you, because I will royally mess you up, because I haven't forgotten. I never will forget. And any chance to put you back into subservience, I'm gonna take. But until then, you've got the fans on your side. But next week, I change the game. I turn the tables, and all will kneel before your king.
So basically, this is what would happen if Cody Rhodes wins King of the Ring and becomes a heel.
Yeah, except without wearing the crappy getup. He doesn't need it.
I mean, you could give him the scepter and the crown.
Yeah, but it's
just not the cape.
Not the cape. No cape. Maybe just the crown. That may be the only thing I actually take from this. But in any case, these two have some words, but they're still gonna meet next week. That's what this builds to, is the face-to-face and the contract signing. Cody's got a secret.
And what does he want to share with the world?
Well, he says it's going to change the public's opinion of Cody. That's a very bold statement given the deeds that Cody's done in the past 2 years.
Yes, because Lord knows we need to know more about Brandy.
Well, if it even involves Brandy. But
you never know.
You never know. You just never know. Well, we've got one more match, folks, and then it's our main event. We're almost there.
Whoa.
Yes, that's right. So it is Randy Orton versus Trevor Mann.
Okay, when's the RKO spot from the top rope? Is it 5 minutes? Is it 5 minutes?
It's 9 minutes. I wanted to give Trevor Mann some time, but it is in fact a 450 that Randy Orton does counter it into an RKO. 1, 2, 3.
Come on, man.
I mean, you can't change what works. And it works. Although we will say that, like, maybe, Randy, maybe Corny, jiggled the rope a little bit or something to cause him to lose balance. So there is some level of, shenanigans involved. So
basically, Trevor Mann is on the top rope. Cornette gets onto the apron, kind of plays with the rope. The referee tells him to go back down. Trevor Mann still goes for it, gets RKO'd.
Yeah. So there's still some healing bit to this, but Randy gets the win. It's a win that he kind of needs to have, and Trevor Mann has been the perfect guy to do that. You say what you want about Ricochet and what he is and what level he's at, but he really has been a great launching point for a lot of guys.
AKA a mid-card babyface.
Right. Exactly.
Not everybody can be in the main event, boys and girls.
That's right. And so Randy, they go to the back and Jim go to the back, and now Matt Striker is in the ring, or actually he's in the ring, and he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, it's time tonight," and we've gotten word, right as we were hearing that Titus O'Neil were from, and we thank FaceTime or whatever it is, the video camera service that we've used to send this long-term call, this call down. But ladies and gentlemen, from Tampa, Florida itself, live from wherever his phone is and wherever he is, Titus O'Neil. And there he is. He's on the screen, and his neck. He doesn't have the neck brace. It's off, but he smiles, and the crowd obviously goes crazy for Titus O'Neil. And Matt says, "Well, let me be the first to say," and before he's even able to say it, the crowd's chanting, "Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back." And it's like, well, they did it for me. Welcome back, Titus. It's great to hear from you. And Titus is like, "Well, there's one place, and only one place that I call home, and it's Tampa, Florida, and I'm glad that this is the place I show my face. Ooh, ooh, ooh." And he goes, and Matt goes, "Well, I don't know where you are right now, but it's but Titus, you look like you're in the middle of something here." He goes, "Yeah, I'm driving. I just came back from the I did not come up with a charity that he was gonna do. Maybe some Special Olympics thing. He does a lot with that. So he's like, I just came back from an organizational meeting, ambassadorship with the Special Olympics, and I'm just on my way home now, about to give myself some good food, maybe catch a game later. It's how it is. It's how we do." And Matt says, "Well, it's exciting to see you back here, and I know the entire world wants to know the big question, and that is, how are you feeling, and what is your status going forward?" And Titus goes, "Well, unfortunately, I didn't want it to be like this, but Randy's punt, as we mentioned, many months ago, 6-7 months ago, it did fracture a couple of vertebrae, my C4 and 5, that they needed to basically fuse together, and it's a very complicated surgery, and it's a very even more complicated healing process. But modern medicine is really phenomenal, but it has its limits. It has its limits, and unfortunately, Matt, I have to make the announcement now that I chances are that I will, by the end of this year, and maybe sooner, it may be now too, am going to have to retire from the wrestling ring."
Oh.
And the crowd is devastated, and Matt says, "Well, I'm really, we're really sorry to hear that, Titus." And before Matt could continue, you could see that back down the ramp comes Randy Orton and Jim Cornette, and Jim is jumping up and down going, "I told you, I told all of you, I told you." And Randy Orton is just gloating, and Matt's going, "Oh, come on, guys, this is a somber moment. You guys really need to be out here for this." And Randy Orton comes in, and he looks at Matt Striker, and Titus goes, "Who's that?" And Randy goes, "You know damn well who it is, and I wanted to be here to personally thank you for confirming that I ended your career, because you deserve to be put out to pasture, and these fans in Florida know that you deserved to be put out to pasture. That's your champion. You hate it to know that we're right, but it's good that you get to go home where you belong." And Titus goes, "Hey, Randy, it's funny. It's fun. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here, and I'm sure these people in Tampa have shown how much they love you. But I have no love lost for a man like you, Randy Orton, and you know it. You've done too much to me. You've made my life a living hell for 2 years. But if you think that I'm announcing that I'm done with you. Oh, no, sir. You see, Titus O'Neil cares about 3 things. ACPW, helping the people out here in times of need, being there for the people, because the people are what make people like you, Randy. They make me. They made me the ACPW World's Champion, and I was their champion, and you took that away from me. And the fact is, I talked to my doctor, we looked at my neck, and I said, how long and what can I do? Can I, Doc? Damn, is there a way I can fight and train hard enough so I can kick one man's ass as hard as I can until he is a bloody pulp at my feet? And I explained to this doctor, I told him everything you did. I told him every transgression from the RKO to the tar and feathering to the punt. I told him all of it. And that doctor, he looked me in the eyes and said, you're not well, Titus O'Neil. You're not well, and it's going to take a long time to recover, but damn it, I want to see you kick that man's ass just as much as you want to do it. And so he worked with me for the past 7 months, every night and every day, and I slaved away until I was told last week that I can wrestle 1 match. I'm cleared for 1 more, and I've got 1 more in the chamber, and I've talked to Jim Ross, and that last match of my career happens at Winter Warfare. And guess who that match is against? It's you, Randy. In fact, I've missed you so much, Randy, that I wanted to make sure that you knew that I really cared about this feud, and you knew how much I wanted to make sure I looked you in the eye to kick your ass. In fact, so much so that on my way home, I decided to make a pit stop, and you could see the lights now coming in, and Titus O'Neil is in a parking garage. And all of a sudden, the eyes widen on Randy Orton and Jim Cornette, and Titus O'Neil says, well, Matt, this has been a hell of an interview. Next time we should do this in person. In fact, give me 2 minutes. And he shuts off the phone, the feed goes off, and you can hear, and now the crowd is going crazy, right? And Randy Orton, and they're trying to get out of the way, and Matt Shark goes, well, Jim, and Jim just kind of pushes Matt to the side, and Jim just says, we're getting out of here. We're getting out of here. And Orton slides out from under the ring. Jim Cornette's looking everywhere, real paranoid, and Randy Orton, they walk to the back, and right as he gets to the back, Randy Orton gets through the curtain and immediately flies out of the curtain because there's Titus O'Neil in person. We'll open it up and brawling, just punching Randy Orton and knocking him all the way back down to the arena and just, taking him everywhere. Cornette's trying to urge him to stop, and Orton is just backing up. He's running up the ramp. Titus O'Neil is chasing him, and that chase scene is how we end this show.
Interesting choice of an ending. I'm glad Titus O'Neil is getting 1 more match against Randy Orton to settle all the problems that he has with him. It warms my heart for Titus.
Well, I couldn't just write him off with a broken neck and then we never see him again.
No,
he
has to do his 1 last ride.
Yeah. So this is it, and it's against Randy, and this is the guy who I would do this with, especially if his neck is bad. God forbid, if his neck really is bad, you don't want to. Randy's going to be about the safest guy you could ask for,
except for the punts.
Yes, exactly. So it's so you got this matchup, and that's going to be another one for Winter Warfare. So the card is piling up with major matches.
Yep, and you have a go-home show the next time we do this.
That's right. So this isn't even the final build, folks. This is coming up, but we've got more to come. And just as a little teaser of things that are coming up on the next episode, we've got the contract signing with Cody and MJF. James Storm is going to be in action. Adam Cole's going to cut a promo. We're going to have the Briscoes in action. Walter's going to be there. Pillman Jr. There's going to be a huge 6-man tag that Pillman Jr. is involved in. The potential of Stone Cold Steve Austin might be there. We're going to have Jon Moxley versus Shorty G, or it's going to be Dean Ambrose by the time we get to that point, and more. So stay tuned, folks. ACPW and NWL have got some very exciting shows coming up, but it has been a long show. And that means it's time to go to our first commercial break. Until next week. Now, I believe we don't have any pay-per-view reviews to watch of main shows.
Here's the trick, is that next Saturday, the 5th of November, is WWE's Crown Jewel. However, me and Sean,
we're not
even
watching
though we still like Triple H, are not watching.
Nope.
Instead, we're going to do a classic pay-per-view review, and it is your turn, Sean, to pick the pay-per-view. But what that pay-per-view is going to be, you're going to have to stay tuned and find out.
That's right, folks. I'm going to have to do some thinking on that, but that's going to be next week. So we're going to do another retro pay-per-view review. And, well, that's actually, while we're sitting here, let's think about what would be fitting for November. You know what? I would like to watch. I'm going to go down and I'm going to find us a good Survivor Series show to watch. Because Survivor Series is allegedly going to be different this year. Let's see how it stacks up to Survivor Series of years past.
Okay, I'm gonna have some sore thumbs thinking about certain shows I want to watch.
Well, we'll see what happens, but we're gonna review a Survivor Series show. But which one, you'll have to find out next time. But until then, folks, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to everything that we've mentioned so far, including the Court Martial podcast and all the music, and TAW Gaming, who is probably going to get his notes in at the very least. So stay tuned, like, share, subscribe to all of that. Thank you for watching, and we will be right back right after this.